White House Field from beautiful Harwich, Massachusetts for tonight's Wednesday night matchup between the Hyannis Harborhawks and the Harwich Mariners. Lincoln Revill alongside Austin DeCouta. And Austin, after a nasty, nasty rainout last night, Harborhawks baseball is finally back on, and it's good to see some clear skies tonight.
It is, and after last night's game, Lincoln, it's good to see a night where you're going to get, a full 9 innings, barring anything, out of the ordinary.
Fingers crossed.
At least last night we got to see Andrew Baker make his first start of the season, and he was effective, the right-hander from Chipola. He only allowed the 1 run over the 3 innings, and overall he had a really good outing. Yeah,
he did. And I was very impressed with him starting off. It was his first time out this season, and just a very good start so far. It was a shame that he only, as you know, every starting pitcher only lasting 3 innings. Pitchers, for the most part, going about 3 innings each, and so I wish we could have seen him more, but I'm sure we'll see him soon throughout the rest of the season. Let's go ahead and start off now with the starting lineups. We'll go ahead and start off with the home team, the Harwich Mariners. Get to your team, the Harborhawks, right after this. But first off for the Mariners, Nick Lucky is going to start us off, followed by Corey Acton, Brock Wilkin playing first base, and he'll be batting in the 3 hole, followed by Cade Beloso, the left fielder. Josh Hood, the third baseman, batting in the 5 hole. He'll be followed by Pat Winkle, the catcher. Andrew Jenkins, the designated hitter, batting 7th, followed by Hal Hughes, the shortstop, and Jake Lazzaro playing in right field. He'll be batting in the 9 hole for the Mariners tonight. And Austin, how are the Harborhawks looking for us tonight?
Well, they're coming back again with Caden Rose in the leadoff spot. He'll be playing center field tonight. He was supposed to start there last night and did, but the game was rained out, as we know. In the 2 hole is Kyle Ball once again back at shortstop. Mitchell Hardigan back in the 3 hole of left fielder, making his 4th consecutive start. Mason Greer getting his first start of the season at first base and batting cleanup. In the 5 hole is Luke Mann. He'll be getting the start at third base. In the 6th spot, Dominic Johnson. He's got a night off from the field. He'll be at DH. Jake Cunningham making his Harborhawk debut, and he'll be in right field. And in the 7 hole, Kayla Pendleton making his 2nd start of the season, batting 8th and doing the catching. And in the 9 hole, making his Harborhawk debut is 2nd baseman Ryan Romano, with Hunter Dula on the mound making his first start of the 2021 campaign.
A couple of new faces to this Harborhawks roster, and a couple of familiar faces in some unfamiliar territory with Mason Greer, who usually plays in the third base spot when he's in the field, and he'll be on the other side of the diamond playing at first base. And on the mound for the Mariners is going to be Billy Seidel, the Duke right-hander. He's in the windup right now as we're just about ready to get underway. Caden Rose up first, the center fielder in the right-handed box as Seidel comes home. And that first pitch is fouled off, coming in at 92 miles an hour from Seidel, and we are underway. Rose with a 200 average so far in last night's shortened game. None of these stats matter, but I'll go ahead and go through it. He had a ground out in his first at-bat, and then not really sure what I wrote here. Actually, it was a single. Yes, he went 1 for 2 with a ground out and a single. Bad handwriting at that second at-bat, as Austin and I both had to hold up some things to keep the rain out of the press box, and so I had a little trouble writing stuff down later in the game.
It was an interesting night, to say the least. The weather did not help our cause at all, as we lost power a couple times due to the weather, and tonight we have power. We have clear skies, so that's 2 wins so far.
Yeah, we barely have power, as the power actually just came on here at the ball field about 20 minutes before game time, as Harwich also had some damage from the storm last night, some electrical damage. As Caden Rose goes down looking, Seidel gets him with a breaking ball on the inside corner at 81 miles an hour, and a beautiful pitch there to start this game from that first at-bat.
Good mix of pitches right off the bat from Seidel. You saw the fastball, you saw an off-speed pitch, and Caden Rose goes down looking, a guy who swings the bat, makes a lot of contact, so if you can get him looking, you're doing something right.
Kyle Ball now at the plate, 1 for 7 on the season, a 143 average, and a 333 on-base percentage as he digs into the right-handed box. Righty on righty as we are ready with this second at-bat. Seidel from the windup comes home. And that misses a little bit up high, ball 1.
Seidel coming out at 91 miles per hour here in the first inning, a good live arm. Stands at 6 feet tall, a right-handed pitcher, and he's going to utilize that fastball early on. Expect him to mix in the off-speed the second time through the lineup.
And we see that off-speed there at 80 miles an hour, little breaking ball there, as the count now evens out to 1-1. Mariners with some off-white jerseys, some classic-looking jerseys. I like the look. Red Sox Looks like navy hats with that off-white bill there.
Yeah, all the players with the stirrups on tonight.
It's a look that you love to see, honestly, when the team is all uniform with stirrups. I like the stirrup look more than the long pants. You know, the stirrups just classic. As this 2-1 comes in, that one's fouled off, out of play. As the count evens out to 2-2 now. Harborhawks, on the other hand, wearing blue jerseys, pinstripe white pants, and that orange lettering and numbering, the American flag on the back of their jerseys above the number.
We'll see if he tries to come back with another off-speed here on 2-2.
The 2-2. He did come back with the off-speed. Good little prediction there, Austin. 3-2 now the count.
He's been mixing the pitches, not alternating exactly, but he likes to get ahead with the fastball, and then with the count even, expect him to use that. It's like a slider that kind of breaks in on the right-handed hitters. He starts to at their front hip. Be backdoor to lefties.
That full count lined over to third, and that is caught by Hood. That was Josh Hood making the grab over there for out number 2.
Sometimes you do everything right, you square the ball up, but you just hit it right at somebody. Kyle Ball with a line drive. Unfortunately, it was right at Hood at third base, and he had him played perfectly.
Yeah, Hood didn't have to take a step as he just jumped up and grabbed that ball just a couple inches higher, and that could have been an extra base hit. But instead, 2 outs here in the top of the first. Mitchell Hardigan at the plate as he watches that first one go by for strike 1. Hardigan in the left-handed box.
He started all the games so far for Hyannis. So
Cool.
All right, so just summarize the inning. But we won't do a break this inning.
All right, sorry about that. Little technical difficulties here. Once again from White House Field, Lincoln Revill alongside Austin DeCouta. As we just finished the top half of the first inning, Harborhawks went down quietly. Only 1 hit given up from Mitchell Hardigan. That single out into right field with 2 away. Caden Rose went down looking to start the inning off, while Kyle Ball, who had a line out to third. And that was followed by Mitchell Hardigan's single, otherwise known as Mitch. And then Mason Greer ended the top of the first inning with a ground out to second base. An easy play there for Corey Acton, the second baseman.
yeah, Hardigan squared that ball up really well in the first inning, so it's an encouraging sign to see.
Harborhawks taking the field for their first time tonight. Again, Hunter Dula getting his debut for the Harborhawks from Wingate University.
He brings a pretty solid fastball as well.
Dula, his couple of stats from his season at Wingate: a 7-2 record, a 3.38 ERA with 64 innings pitched, and in that 64 inning span, walked 25 and struck out 68, a 25-68 walk to strikeout ratio for the right-hander. Some pretty good numbers there for Dula. Dula sporting the orange number 2 for the Harborhawks. Harborhawks, as I mentioned earlier, those blue jerseys, pinstripe white pants, the blue cap with orange bill, the away hats for the Harborhawks. As we know that the home hats, the all blue caps with that little cursive orange H, a very good look there.
And Dula limited hitters to a 220 average during this season while he was pitching for Wingate. So a guy who does a good job, rather, of limiting base hits and base runners, which is obviously key. He did have, as you mentioned, Lincoln, 25 walks, but he did strike out 68 in 64 innings, so definitely a strikeout pitcher, averaging more than 1 strikeout per inning. His Ks per 9 looking pretty good.
Yeah, with those numbers, you got to be excited about not only his fastball, but really his location and his breaking ball as well. You can't have that many strikeouts without a noticeable breaking ball, at least. Stepping up first for the Mariners is going to be Nick Lucky. Corey Acton and Brock Wilkin will be the 2 and 3 hitters as this first pitch from Dula misses down low for ball 1. Lucky with a 125 average so far on the season. He's had 8 at-bats, only 1 hit in those 8 at-bats. As he fouls that one off, evens the count out 1-1.
Just behind the fastball as he put down the left field line there, but if you're Dooley, you learn from that. You see he's late on your fastball. You mix in an off-speed, go back to that with 2 strikes.
Dula from the windup fouls that one off as well. That fastball coming in at 91 miles an hour.
Timed it up a little better on that swing as it was popped just straight over the house here behind home plate where the broadcasters sit for Harwich, as well as the concession stand. But he's squaring it up a little better, still a tick late. So Dula will see if he triples up on that fastball.
Dula with the 1-2. That hanging breaking ball missing just high.
83 miles an hour on the breaking ball, Lincoln. So he's got about a 10-mile-per-hour difference between the fastball and breaking ball.
Yeah, we talked last night about how important it is to have that much difference. As Andrew Baker, who started off the game last night for the Harbor Hawks, actually we clocked his fastball a couple of times at 98 miles an hour, had about a 15-mile-an-hour difference at times in those breaking balls. So just an absolute massive difference, and was really lethal for some batteries.
Then when you're a guy in the pros like Jake DeGrom, he throws his slider at 90. I mean, still throws the fastball, 10 miles per hour faster, but you have to have a difference. You don't have to throw your slider super slow, as we're starting to see with a lot of pitchers who throw a hard slider in the 90s now. But as long as it's a few miles per hour slower than your fastball, it's important to keep the hitters off balance.
I actually saw a stat on Jacob DeGrom this morning, actually, that he's gone, I think, 20 straight innings now without allowing a run.
Yeah, I mean,
ruthless.
Nothing surprises me when you talk about Jake DeGrom and not allowing runs.
Full count now coming up to Lucky. Lucky out in center field as this one comes in. He fouls that one off once again. And we'll stay at 3-2. Fastball coming in at 93 miles an hour.
He is making Dula work. The first batter of the game up for Harwich, and that's going to be pitch number 9 upcoming.
Lucky, the junior from Coastal Carolina, the Chanticleers, standing at 6 foot, 195 pounds. As he lofts this one into deep center field, that looks playable for Rose as he settles under it. Has to backtrack a little bit, but makes the grab. And that is out number 1. Lucky goes down with an F8 to start us off.
That play showed you how tough the sun is right now here in Harwich, as Rose was under it, camped under it, but then stumbled at the last second as the ball drifted back on him a bit. Really tough to see. The sun starting to go down, but not down enough for those outfielders as it sets behind home plate.
Yeah, very, very sunny day here. Couple clouds in the sky. It's partly cloudy, but you can see that blue sky. And the sun definitely playing a toll, especially in that outfield, as there is no shade in that outfield. The infield actually partly shady. The pitcher's mound actually covered in shade. The whole foul territory actually pretty shady, especially both dugouts. 1-0 the count as he swings and misses at that one. 1-1. Corey Acton at the plate now.
Luckily for the hitters, they won't have to deal with the ball coming from the sun going into the shade, as the pitcher's mound to home plate covered in shade for the most part, except for one spot. Sometimes you'll have the game where the shade creeps throughout the game and you're in the shade, but the ball's coming from the sun, which can be difficult for the hitters to pick it up.
The 1-1 coming in is fouled off. We've been talking about the sun in the sky here. A beautiful day in Harwich. 66 degrees coming in. Wind at 6 miles an hour out of the south-southeast.
Dula's ahead 1-2. Let's see if he tries to snap off that breaking ball.
The 1-2. Misses high and away. Brings the count even at 2.
He did come breaking ball. The slider slipped out of his hand a little early. 82 on the gun, but trying to at least work in the breaking ball here early on. Keep the hitters off balance.
Yeah, and if you can't, he's having a little trouble getting that breaking ball to fall at times. And really, if you're Dula, that's not necessarily a bad thing. At least you're keeping the batter guessing at where the ball is going to be, what pitch it's going to be. We've seen a couple pitchers this season so far that have just pounded the fastball anytime they can, and it's good to see a lot of variety in those pitches. And the 3-2 is swung on and missed. Acton goes down swinging for out number 2. Strikeout number 1 for Hunter Dula, with Brock Wilkin stepping up to the plate. Wilkin at 6'4", 230 pounds, the Wake Forest freshman. This season for Wake Forest actually broke the freshman home run record in 2021 with 17 dingers. And he's just a massive, powerful hitter at 6'4", 230, as I mentioned. As that first pitch from Dula misses down low.
Yeah, you mentioned it, 17 home runs as a freshman, breaking the record. You can only imagine what he's going to do in years to come.
And as we know, with the wooden bats that they use in this league, not as much pop as the aluminum that they use at the college level. So it'll be interesting to see how he adapts to this whole different style.
Yeah, fortunately, we've still seen a couple home runs to this point. We'll see a bunch more, I'm sure.
Yeah, we've seen 4 home runs in all this season, three from opponents for the Harbor Hawks, as we had 2 from the Bourne Braves, 1 from the Brewster Whitecaps, and then we've had 1 from the Harbor Hawks, as Dominic Johnson had a 2-run shot in the game the other night against the Cotuit Kettleers. This one lofted just behind third base, as that's going to be huge. That's going to be Ball settling under it to make the grab. That ends the first inning. Mariners go down 1-2-3. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left. As we head to the second, still scoreless on the Harbor Hawk Baseball Network. Back for the second inning, White House Field, home of the Harwich Mariners. Mariners taking on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks here on this beautiful, beautiful Wednesday night. Nice, cool night as Luke Mann steps up to the plate to start us off for the second inning. Mann, Johnson, and Cunningham. Next 3 up for the Harbor Hawks as Billy Seidel digs back in for his second inning of work, and Mann lofts this very first pitch into left field nearing the warning track, and that is brought on just short of the fence. That ball being brought in by Beloso for out number 1.
And you're seeing what a tough time the outfielders are having with the sun as Beloso started to spin and turn and try to locate that ball. It's just the sun is in such a tough spot right now, just for the outfielders too. I think everybody else is all right. Maybe the right side of the infield, but it's going to be a tough day for the outfielders, at least for the next half hour or so. So normally I'm more of a fan of putting the ball on the ground and making them make a play, but if you can put it in the air to the outfield right now, they're having a tough time on both teams.
Yeah, and that that sun actually, from here it looks like it's behind the press box, but it's actually, if you're in the field facing the press box, it's actually a little bit over to the right. And so it'll be a little while before that sun goes down. So we'll see how the sun affects all outfielders today, as this one is a short dribbler over to third. That's going to be picked up by Hood. He throws on the run, and the throw is in time for out number 2.
Yeah, Hood is putting on a defensive clinic so far over at third base. He leapt from his feet back in the top of the first to catch a line drive and rob a base hit. Now coming in on the run, making a throw. Didn't even have to set his feet. Very athletic third baseman.
Yeah, 2 impressive plays from Hood so far tonight, as Jake Cunningham digs in for his first appearance as a Harbor Hawk. As
he hit 224 at Charlotte this season. A guy who was in his first year there, a freshman. Talked to him before yesterday's game. He's an outfielder, but doesn't necessarily like to play left field, he says. He says it's just something about it that kind of keeps him away from that left side. Likes center, likes right field, and he is in right field today.
I have to say, I do agree with him. Something about left field just feels different, you know? Like, it's a whole different feeling from right. This one hit over to short. That's going to be picked up by Hughes. Throw to first. Gets past Wilkin. And Cunningham reaches base. It looks like that'll go down as an E5 on that one. Or E6, excuse me.
I thought they might rule that a hit because he was very close to beating that play out anyway. We'll see what the official score is. I haven't seen it on the scoreboard quite yet, but Cunningham really got down the line for a kid with a lot of height to him too, 6'4", but he can really burn too.
Yeah, with that 6'4", you know, those long legs, he has the ability for a very big stride. Can gain a lot of ground in not a lot of time.
Still haven't seen an official score on that last play on the board.
Kayla Pendleton now at the plate for the Harbor Hawks. Pendleton wearing number 19, and he's the catcher for Hyannis in tonight's game. We've seen him behind the plate once before as he hits this one over to short. That gets off the glove of Hughes, and that rolls into left field. Play over at third is not in time as well, as that is going to be Cunningham over to third, getting an extra base as Pendleton reaches second. And with 2 away, 2 runners in scoring position now for Ryan Romano.
Now we have 2 plays in a row that we're going to need a score on to see what the decision is. That one took a little bit of a weird hop on Hughes there, but it might go down as an error.
Yeah,
I'm still waiting on the score from the play before, which they have put 1 error, now 2. So they're going to rule both of the last 2 plays errors. Now we have 3 errors on the board, so I think they're going to.
Whoa.
Well, because the throw from left.
Oh, that's
throw
right,
from
yes.
third from left field. So on that last play, Cunningham goes from first to third on the error from left. So 3 errors in the inning for Harwich.
Yeah, and that you hate to see that really. You hate to see that. That's 2 errors now on Hughes. That's Hal Hughes over at short for the Mariners. Back-to-back errors, actually.
I thought the first one was going to be ruled a hit. I think he did beat the throw either way, but nonetheless, the throw was offline.
0-1 the count to Ryan Romano. Romano also getting his first appearance for the Harbor Hawks. Has not played so far this season. He hasn't. I don't think he was activated before last night. Coming to us from Tampa, Florida, the Florida State sophomore at 6 foot, 175 pounds. The 0-2 from Seidel is a breaking ball in the dirt, ball 1.
Romano's brother actually plays in the FCBL currently, another collegiate summer league here in Massachusetts, and Ryan spent 2019 in the NECBL under Gary Calhoun, who's the Harbor Hawk manager. And one more connection for you, as his dad, Romano's dad, played for Gary Calhoun's JUCO national championship team back in the day, so a long-standing connection with Gary Calhoun in the Romano family.
Seidel from the stretch, the right-hander with the 1-2. That one's hit for a line drive and a base hit past short. 1 run's going to come in. 2 runs are going to score as Pendleton comes in from second. And the Harbor Hawks with an early 2-0 lead here in the top of the second.
Terrific piece of hitting there by Ryan Romano. Got a fastball up in the zone, and he did not miss it. Brought the bat right to the ball. Able to raise the hands and just take it to left field. Stayed on that. Perfect piece of hitting to drive in two.
And that was a perfect place just between Hood and Hughes for a base hit in that gap between short and third. So the Harbor Hawks with a 2-0 lead. With a runner on first, 2 away, as Caden Rose will dig back in for his second at bat. He's currently 0 for 1. Struck out looking to start us off back in the top of the first.
And Romano over at first now, a guy that our sideline reporter Taylor Farmer interviewed earlier this week. You can check that out on the Harbor Hawk YouTube page. Get to know Ryan Romano a little better.
Runner goes from first as that one's fouled off.
Wow.
Rose ends up fouling that one off. That actually went off the mask of Winkle back behind the plate.
It hit his mask and went out of play. That ball hit the mask and went a good 100 feet in the air. All the way over the backstop.
Yeah, something I've never seen. I don't know how often that happens, but it's definitely something I've never seen before. So 0-2 now the count to Rose. Rose wiggling his bat just a bit. Seidel with a look over at first, comes home. Breaking ball misses in the dirt. Runner goes, and the delayed steal, and it's in time. The throw is in time from Winkle. Romano caught stealing. That ends the top of the second, but not before the Harbor Hawks score 2 runs and take an early 2-0 lead halfway through 2. We'll be right back. You're watching the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Bottom of the second, Harbor Hawks up 2-0 against the Harwich Mariners here coming into the bottom of the second. And due up for the Mariners coming up is going to be Cade Beloso, followed by Josh Hood and Pat Winkle. 4-5-6 coming up after the Harbor Hawks took care of business in the bottom of the first and had a 3-up, 3-down inning. Nick Lucky went down with a fly out, followed by a strikeout from Corey Acton, and Brock Wilkin went down with a fly out as well. Hunter Dula back on the mound for the Harbor Hawks as he brings this one home and misses outside for ball 1.
Beloso comes to us from LSU from the left side of the plate. He's got some pop, too, in his swing.
That one misses for ball 2. 2-0 now the count. Beloso batting .500 on the season so far. As this one's knocked towards second, that's going to be off the glove of Romano. And that's going to be a leadoff. Might be a hit for Beloso, could be an error, we'll see. And I don't think they'd score that an error, as Romano had to make a move quite a ways to try to get in front of that ball, and he just couldn't get to it. And that will be scored a hit, as that is a leadoff single for Cade Beloso. And that brings Josh Hood to the plate.
Saw 2 athletic plays in the field by Hood to take away likely 2 base hits for Hyannis earlier in the ball game. We'll see what he can do at the dish now. See, stands at 6'2" on the stat sheet, but he looks taller than that.
Yeah, he does. He quite a bit of size there, and just a big player. As this one is skied, and that will head out of play, a towering foul ball. That brings the count now to 0-2. Hood from NC State. Actually came to NC State from Penn, and he took home the Ivy League Rookie of the Year in 2019, hitting .331 with 60 hits and 8 home runs. So not only is he a good ball player, also a very smart ball player. Has attended Penn for a little bit. 1-2. That one's lofted. Foul territory. Back behind first base. That's going to be Greer ranging back. And that's going to drop. That keeps the count at 1-2.
Heck of an effort by Mason Greer getting his first start of the year at first base. Had to run about 50 yards to try to even get to that ball and nearly got a glove on it. Just too far out of reach as we see a lot of foul territory here in Harwich. A lot of playable foul territory, that is.
Josh Hood wearing number 3 for the Mariners tonight. Actually wears number 3 as a tribute to one of his good friends who passed away a few weeks ago. His friend wore the number 3, and so Hood sporting that number out of respect for him. As he fouls that one back off, keeps the count at 1-2.
Heck of a battle here for Josh Hood. Was down 0-2, but is able to spoil 2 pitches in a row. Fought off a tough slider. Another fastball. We'll see where Dula goes here as Hood has him in a tough spot as he's really timing him up.
Dula from the stretch. He comes set, glove near his stomach. Comes home. This one's popped. That's going to head in foul territory. Back out of play just behind the bleachers as that lands on the road and is scrambled on by a few kids playing out behind the bleachers.
There's about 15 kids fighting for those foul balls. They just stay right in that area. He's put 2 in a row there, so they're in a good spot, I think.
Yeah, they're getting smart. Kids are getting smarter these days.
At this rate, everyone's going to go home with 1 foul ball, so that should keep all the kids happy.
Following the trend. That 1-2. Check swing, and the first base umpire says no, he did not go. 2-2 now the count.
Heck of a battle here. Started down 0-2, worked the count, couple balls, and fouled off 3 pitches. 7 pitches into the at-bat. Hood going to make something happen with no outs here for Harwich.
Now Hood was actually supposed to play in the Cape League during the 2020 season, but as we know, that season actually got canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and so he's getting his redemption season, I guess you could call it, in 2021.
Yeah, a lot of guys are supposed to be down here last summer, but some of them found homes across the country, and a handful of leagues played, not too many. The FCBL in Massachusetts was in action with just 6 teams.
Yeah, you got to work the FCBL.
I did. It was a great experience.
For the, what are they called, Brockton Rocks? Is that what it is?
Yes, the Brockton Rocks in Brockton, Massachusetts. We have a few of those guys in this league as well. Nick Sinicola on Harwich was with the Brockton Rocks last season, was the pitcher of the year in the FCBL. We won't see him tonight, though. He's a starter, so a couple more days from now he'll be back on the hill. Got the opening day start for Harwich.
Hood goes down with a strikeout, and that's going to bring Pat Winkle now to the plate. Winkle at catcher for the Mariners here tonight. Winkle, 6'1", 200 pounds, the sophomore from UConn, as he comes to us from Orange, Connecticut. Has some experience with the Mariners as he played on the 2019 Harwich team.
Team that made it to the championship series. Unfortunately, they lost to DeCouta, are the defending champions now since there was no season last year. And Hyannis was able to defeat the defending champions in their first matchup a couple days ago in Hyannis.
Very impressive win there. Winkle actually, during game 1 of that championship series, had a 2-home run game in a 7-6, 15-inning loss to the Kedliers.
Well, no extra innings during the regular season this year. I imagine we will not have ties in the playoffs.
I sure hope not.
That would create quite the conundrum for the CCBL.
Just imagine if they had like 3 or 4 games that all ended in ties after 9 innings. Oof.
What do you do? Everybody moves on. You play
yeah,
again.
Yeah.
Series starts over. It's good for now to have no extra innings. I mean, it keeps the players fresh. You know, with the schedule the way it is this year, typically 6 games a week. You have Thursday off days most weeks, at least one day off. But you need fresh arms, you need fresh players, and you can't really afford to burn through a pitching staff in extra innings.
Yeah, and with the 9 innings, they've started with a point system as runner goes on that bad pitch and ball in the dirt. Throwdown is not in time.
Took an awkward bounce and hit Pendleton in the face mask, but was able to keep it somewhat in front of him. Just a good jump over at first there by Beloso as he moves up to second.
And Beloso showing some wheels and now a dirty front of his jersey as he stands on second base now. As we were talking about with the playoff, with the season now with ties in effect, they've gone to a point system to rank teams, is similar to hockey point system. Win is 2 points, a tie is 1, and then losses, as we know, are 0 or no points. This one fouled off. Keeps count full, 3-2 with 1 away.
And Dula's had to throw a lot of pitches. Another full count here to another Harwich Mariner, and he's had to really work, but he's been effective with his pitches. They're just fouling off a ton, and I think we might be out of baseballs by the 5th inning.
And Pat Winkle, this past season for UConn, hit .284 on the season as he hits that one. That is a long fly ball back towards right field, and that is foul. A long strike as that was heading out of play. Thought that would be a 2-run home run and we'd have a tie game, but instead just goes a little foul.
Well, he hung to what appeared to be a slider that just didn't really slide or stay low in the zone. It was above the belt, and man, did Winkle time that up and just drive it to right field. It's 330 to right, left, and then 400 to center, one of the longer ballparks in the league. And he just curved it just to the right of the foul pole in right field, rather. But a pitch that I can't imagine Dula comes back with here.
And just the sound from that bat, you could tell it was going to go a long way. As the 3-2 comes in, a towering fly ball. This one's not going out, as that's going to be the Rose settling under it for out number 2. And with 2 away, Beloso is going to stay at second. And that's going to bring up Hal Hughes. Actually, no, that is Andrew Jenkins, actually. I apologize. Jenkins, the designated hitter tonight.
Yeah, from Georgia Tech, Lincoln, and he had 9 home runs in that 2021 season. A lot of pop, too, out of the designated hitter spot here. Batting 7 today for the Mariners. Good power throughout the entirety of this lineup, which is something Hunter Dula has to take note of here.
Jenkins standing at 6 feet. And his jersey, actually a very interesting look. His jersey is unbuttoned about halfway down, and so he's a very open look there for Jenkins.
Little Johnny Gomes, Red Sox fans will remember him, the former outfielder in Boston, used to unbutton the jersey similarly.
Dula shakes off a sign from Pendleton. Likes what he sees now. Comes set. Brings the 1-1. This is a little low and outside. Brings the count now to 2 balls and 1 strike. Jenkins, out of high school, actually was a high-ranking third baseman during his high school career. Actually, whenever he came to Georgia Tech, he moved over to first base and has been playing first base for the Yellow Jackets since he arrived.
Gets to rest his legs a bit tonight at DH. A little bit of a day off from the field. We've seen the Harbor Hawks split Marcos Pujols and Zane Harris at designated hitter and first base, but they'll both get the night off tonight as Greer is over there defensively and on offense, of course.
Yeah, this is
in the 4-hole tonight.
First time in the season we haven't seen either of those two, in Harris or Pujols. First time we haven't seen them in the field. Greer's made appearances in 3 out of the 4 so-called games that we've had. Last night, as we know, doesn't count as a game.
And unfortunately, those stats won't go down 3-2, 2 away. Big pitch here.
The payoff is fouled off just past the on-deck circle. As that almost hit Hughes there. 3-2 the count. Caden Rose starting us off once again for the Harbor Hawks as Kyle Ball will follow him, and then Mitch Hardigan, the 1-2-3 hitters coming up for the Harbor Hawks. Caden Rose was at bat last inning actually, as Ryan Romano ended up getting thrown out trying to steal second to end that top of the second inning.
Huge hit, however, for Romano in the at-bat just before that, driving in 2 runs, but unfortunately just got a late break trying to jump to second on a pitch that I think he may have thought got by.
Yeah, Romano had his first hit and his first at-bat for the Harbor Hawks. So we have 2 new players on the roster, and Jake Cunningham along with Romano. As this one, towering fly ball towards the Mariners bullpen, and that is going to drop foul as the Mariners relievers scatter. And I think a couple of their lives might have flashed before their eyes on that one.
I don't think any of them saw where that ball was. It was like a fire drill. They just all got up and ran in different directions, all 12 of them down there.
Yeah, they all stood up and like sort of started like huddling in a little circle, and then as soon as they heard it was coming there, they all scattered and went every which way.
Fortunately, nobody was hit with the ball, but a little funny sight to see as they all.
Yeah, a couple of them actually got close. It landed at just a couple feet from a few of them. 1-1 now the count. Seidel still on the mound for his third inning of work as this one's ripped up the middle, and that's a diving stop by Hughes. Throw to first is in time. What a play. Hughes diving towards second base on his stomach and making that grab for the first out. And a very athletic play there from the shortstop.
Big-time redemption play for Hughes there, as he did make 2 errors back in the last inning, which ended up costing the Mariners a 2-run deficit now, but is able to save a base hit there. And that's a huge one to save because you don't want to lead off the inning with a runner on first and no outs if you're Harwich. But for Hyannis, unfortunately, Caden Rose is back to the dugout.
Now, I will say, although he doesn't play for the Harbor Hawks, I am glad that Hughes actually got to redeem himself after getting 2 errors in the second inning.
Big play for him, flashing the leather.
You know the scouts that are here definitely took notice of that.
There's a lot of them here tonight too.
There are. I met
over 20.
I met one of them before the game. Actually, someone from the Marlins here tonight. So a lot of MLB teams here tonight. 1-1 now the count to Kyle Ball. Ball's 0 for 1 as well, as he had a line out to Hood back in the first. A very athletic play there for Hood. 1 of 2 so far on the night. And now 1-1 pitch. Misses for ball 2.
That's a great pitch that you would throw maybe with 2 strikes to get somebody chasing, but there with one strike in the count, you weren't going to get Ball to chase it. Great movement on the slider. Not for a strike. He's shaken off the catcher a couple times, so Seidel must be comfortable with this pitch.
The 2-1. Inside, ball 3. And really, like you said, that last pitch, something you might want to get him chasing with. And I'd say that for one of those pitches, you wouldn't want to throw it on anything higher than a 2-ball count. Like two balls and higher, you don't want to throw that. But with that one, I guess it was okay for that one, as he misses that 3-1 count. And that is a walk for Kyle Ball, his first time on base tonight. And that'll bring Mitch Hardigan back up. 1 for 1 with a single, that first hit in the first inning for the Harbor Hawks. The only hit of that inning is his time on base was short-lived.
His 3rd hit of the season so far. He has a double as well, but he's definitely due for an extra base hit. The way he's been swinging the bat lately, making some solid contact, putting it in play. And again, this field plays really big, does White House Field, with the 400 into dead center, 330 to each line, and a lot of room in those gaps.
A beautiful field here in Harwich, a beautiful layout, as well as just beyond the fence you have trees. Really, we're surrounded by trees here, just a sort of a diamond in the rough, I guess you could say. Little hidden gem here in Harwich. 0-2 now the count. Seidel from the stretch, runner on first. Pitch comes in, misses down low. A good stop there from Winkle. And that evens the count at 2.
Fundamental block there by Winkle, sliding to his left, scurrying that ball up and keeping it in front of him. With 1 away in the inning, you cannot afford the runner to move up into scoring position.
Again, Harbor Hawks up 2-0 over the Mariners here in the top of the 3rd. Seidel with a big breath brings it home to the left-hander, and that one is fouled off just beyond the Mariners' bullpen this time, as that lands just past the crowd on a little hill behind the bullpen. A big crowd here in the built-in seating here at the stadium. Also, a lot of people bringing chairs, some little quilts just to sit on the grass. Very big crowd, big turnout here in Harwich.
Yeah, I mean, a perfect night for baseball. As you mentioned, Lincoln, it was 66 degrees on first pitch, so, I mean, who wouldn't want to come to a game?
Yeah, clouds are starting to clear out, more blue starting to peek out from the sky. You couldn't ask for a better day for some college baseball, really.
And Mitch Hardigan would like to make it an even better day for Harbor Hawk fans.
Yeah, already leading up 2 runs. Want to extend that as much as we can. Harbor Hawks 2 points out of a tie for first place so far. 1-1 on the season. Harwich, meanwhile, winless, 0-2 on the season. They had a 8-1 loss versus Orleans in their season opener, followed by a 3-0 loss to the YD Red Sox just a couple nights ago. The full count. Chopper over towards first, leaping the first base umpire to get out of the way of that ground ball, and he calls foul.
And some scores from around the league. Bourne leading the Falmouth Commodores in Falmouth, 8-0 in the top of the 5th inning. So
wow.
Bourne coming out swinging. Brewster and Chatham are still scoreless in the top of the 2nd, and we're awaiting a score update from Wareham and Yarmouth Dennis, as it was scheduled for a 6:45 start, but no score update yet from there.
Full count once again, another foul ball there from Hardigan. A good battle coming up here for the Harbor Hawk left fielder.
This is exactly what you want to do if you're Mitch Hardigan. Keep fighting off those pitches. He's going to have to throw one in the zone because he does not want to walk back-to-back batters. Does Seidel. Keep driving up that pitch count in the top of the 3rd. Try to get Seidel out of the game early.
Yeah, one thing you got to do as a batter, especially on a full count, is this one's lofted towards the shallow left field, and that almost a collision there between Beloso and Lucky. Lucky decided to dive for that one, but Beloso tried to dive for that one. Lucky actually came out and was able to make the grab for out number 2. And that could have been a disastrous play there if those two fielders had collided, but thankfully everyone's okay. There was no collision out in that field. Mason Greer now up. Greer 0 for 1. Sitting at 2 for 3 on the season. Also has a double, and he's struck out once. Originally from Colleyville, Texas. Graduated from Colleyville Heritage High School. Attends McLennan Community College out of Waco, Texas.
Good count to get a fastball here.
The 1-0. Fastball, like you said, 91 miles an hour. Brings the count even at 1.
And he was looking fastball, behind, or ahead rather, 1-0 in the count. 2 outs in the inning, guy on first, and Greer was gearing up to take a big cut at the fastball, but just missed it.
Seidel from the stretch. Again, runner on first. Currently, Kyle Ball with the lead over at first base.
And Seidel has brought back the fastball again, 92, and Greer is just a tick behind it. See if he goes there again, as Greer's just been late.
Greer sporting an elbow guard on his right elbow. His front arm as he's in the left-handed box. The 1-2. A swing and a miss, that high outside fastball. Greer goes down swinging. He's now 0 for 2 on the night, and the Harborhawks go down. They strand 1, score none, and we head to the bottom of the 3rd. Harborhawks up 2-0 on the Harborhawks Baseball Network. Back at White House Field for the bottom of the 3rd inning. We're just ready to get underway as Pendleton chunks that one down. But before we get underway, fans, earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. In-person and high-flex classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, accounting, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu. Now, I can't do those as well as my partner Austin can. He's just a natural when it comes to these reads.
I don't know about that, but I'll take the compliment.
Hunter Dula back on the mound for the Harborhawks here in the bottom of the 3rd as he brought that first one home for a ball on the inside. And he comes back home with the 1-0. Foul out of play as that heads way back behind the press box. And that hit something. Couldn't see what it hit, but I heard a collision of some kind, as that will keep the count even at 1-1. Hal Hughes at the plate for the Mariners. Jake Lazzaro, the 9-hole, will be on deck, followed by Nick Lucky in the leadoff spot. The 2-1 misses inside, brings the count 3-1. Now to Hughes. Hughes at 5'11" from Rice University out of Conference USA. As he watches that 3-1 pitch go outside, ball 4, and Hughes with a leadoff walk here for the Mariners in the bottom of the 3rd.
Good patience at the plate by Hughes.
And seems Coach Calhoun going to start someone in the bullpen. We can't see out that far as to who is in the Harbor Hawk bullpen, but he did have someone starting out there.
It's been the typical method so far, has been the starting pitcher go 3 innings, and the bullpen comes in, obviously depending on pitch count and performance as well. Dula's been good tonight, just the 1 hit allowed, but Lincoln, he's thrown a lot of pitches, so many foul balls, a lot of full counts, but he's been able to prevail through it.
Yeah, he has. We've seen a lot of very good at-bats so far from this Mariners team, and Dula just doing a great job of battling along. And you have to wonder, with the pitchers so far going just 3 innings, do you think Coach Calhoun is going to keep that up throughout the season, or do you think he's going to let his pitchers get a little bit more leash as the season goes on?
Yeah, I imagine he stretches them out further, but that's something that, maybe we could check with Coach after the next game. I don't want to make predictions for him, but typically a lot of times, I know last summer when I was with the FCBL, they did something similar. A lot of guys started, only went 4 innings, then ramped it up to 5, 6, then, your 4th time around, you end up just going as long as you can. But, again, you're not trying to burn anybody out in the summer either. A lot of these guys just coming off a long, grueling college season, but to take into consideration, too, a lot of them didn't play a collegiate season or a summer season in 2020. So coming back after a whole year off in the 2021 spring might have been taking a toll on a lot of their arms. They might be a little bit more sore than normal, a little bit more recovery time. So you don't want to burn them out this summer, especially after that whole layoff for over a year.
Yeah, definitely don't want to cause any injuries, any long-term injuries this summer whenever these guys have to head back to their colleges for the upcoming season. As that 2-2 pitch to Jake Lazzaro is swung on and missed, and that is strikeout number 3 for Hunter Dula. And there's a little bit of a trend here, as in each of the 3 innings, he's gotten 1 strikeout in each of the 3 innings so far, and each strikeout has been the second batter of the inning.
Not too bad, and it looks like last inning and the first, the strikeout was followed up by flyouts. Is that correct on the ledger?
Yes, it is. In the first, the next at-bat was a flyout to shortstop, and then in the second, the flyout was out to center as this one rolled over to third. That's going to be picked up by Mann. The throw on the run, a stretch from Greer is in time. A magnificent play there from Luke Mann and Mason Greer, the corners for the Harbor Hawks.
The throw on the run, Manny Machado-esque over there at third base, but what was just important, and you hit on it, Lincoln, was the stretch by Mason Greer, because if he doesn't stretch and use all of that 6'3" frame, they're not going to get him out there. I mean, got lucky just by a step. They didn't get lucky. They got the batter lucky.
Yeah,
yeah.
And that was
a good play.
And that's just really an underrated trait to have if you're a first baseman. And a lot of people don't appreciate just how important a good stretch is, and you see a few first basemen up in the show that can just go into full splits trying to get those balls.
Freddie Freeman's one of the best at it. A guy who can fully extend.
Yeah, Freddie Freeman, just probably the best at it in the current MLB. 1-0 the pitch. That ball swung on and missed. Corey Acton back at the plate with a 1-1 count. As in his first appearance, went down swinging. He went the distance, though, full count up to that point. Nick Lucky, who actually we saw had that ground out over to third, also went the distance and just complete opposite at bat for that second appearance as he went down on the first pitch. And now the count goes to 1-2 after that ball is swung on and missed as well. Fastball at 92 miles an hour from Dula.
Acton, another guy part of the 2019 Harwich team. Back here again for another season in the Cape.
And Acton, after that season in 2019, got drafted by the Detroit Tigers, in the 39th round of the MLB draft as he swings and misses at that 1-2 pitch. And that ends the 3rd inning. And instead of going to break, we're actually going to toss it over to our sideline reporter, Taylor Farmer, who spoke to Ryan Romano just a few moments ago. Taylor, what do you have for us?
Thanks, guys. As you both mentioned earlier, I did catch up with Ryan Romano yesterday prior to the game, the second baseman from Florida State. And Austin, you mentioned that his dad won the JUCO World Series under Calhoun. When I talked to Ryan about that, he said his dad won that with runs on the board. It looks like he could help the Harbor Hawks do just that.
All right, thank you, Taylor. And we are just about ready to get underway here with the fourth inning of work. Billy Seidel back on the mound for the Mariners once again for his fourth inning of work, longer than most of the pitchers for the Harbor Hawks, but has gone longer than 3 innings, 4 innings to be exact. And coming up for the Harbor Hawks, we're going to have Luke Mann, Dominic Johnson, and Jake Cunningham, the 5, 6, 7 hole hitters coming up for the Harbor Hawks. And Luke Mann, who's actually up first, as we saw just a couple of moments ago, had that magnificent play at third base, that throw on the run to Mason Greer, who stretched out and had a beautiful put out there. And we're just about ready to get underway here. Sun starting to give way just a little bit as left field is completely shaded. Center field still a little bit sunny, a little good mix between sun and shade, and then a lot of shade over in right field as well. A little bit of sun left, but shouldn't be too much longer. Seidel with the first pitch brings it home, and that is a called strike. That brings the count to 0-1 now to Mann. Mann 0 for 1 on the night so far with a fly out to left back in the second. Seidel from the windup, a foul tip, goes off the mask of Winkle, and you know that has to hurt as home plate umpire is going to head on out to the mound. Give Winkle a little bit of time to recover. Mann, the third baseman in tonight's game. Sitting at 6'2", 210 pounds. Plays at the University of Missouri. That fastball up and in at 89 miles an hour, misses. Brings it out to 1-2.
Action in the Harwich bullpen, left-hander getting loose, as we'll see what they do here after the at-bat to Mann.
And getting loose now for the Mariners, that's going to be Trey Dombrowski. As that 1-2 pitch comes in, and that is strike 3. Mann goes down, and that brings Dominic Johnson. Johnson, we've seen some power from Johnson earlier this season, as Monday night's game against the Catuit Kettleers. Johnson actually had a 2-run home run, went opposite field, and had a home run well out of the park to right center field. Seidel brings that first pitch home. That is strike 1, brings it up to 0-1, 1 away. And Johnson, originally from Oklahoma State until actually just a few days ago, whenever he announced he was making the transfer over to Kansas State. Decided to stay in the Big 12, but he's going to move a little bit north as he's going to head to Kansas for the upcoming year.
Talked to him about that decision. He said it was partially due to Kansas State's hitting coach. He really liked what he brought to the table and thought that he could help Johnson advance his career a little bit further and improve him as a hitter. So he's definitely excited to begin his baseball and academic career at Kansas State.
Johnson 1 for 6 so far on the season for a 167 batting average. He's scored 3 runs, has a home run, and he also has 2 RBIs. The 1-2 swung on and missed. Johnson goes down swinging. That's back-to-back strikeouts for Billy Seidel here in the top of the 4th. And Jake Cunningham is going to come back up to the plate.
4 punch-outs now for Seidel. Got that strikeout pitch working for him, and we saw Dombrowski really ramping up his activity down the left field line, but now he's come to a pause as it seems to be Seidel's inning to finish.
Yeah, and when he's doing this well, especially in this inning, is this one's lofted over to second, and that is going to be through for a base hit over the head of Acton, as that's a 2-out single for Jake Cunningham, and he's on base for the second time tonight.
2 balls he's hit pretty well so far as Cunningham. The first at bat he reached on that error and scored. And now putting one into right field. Great piece of opposite field hitting. Got a fastball on the outside half of the plate and just took it the other way. It's what you want to do is be able to hit to all fields, and terrific job by Cunningham doing just that.
Yeah, another great trait, and something that these coaches look for is a good batter that can do something good with those outside pitches. And a lot of scouts and a lot of coaches look for a batter that can take outside pitches to the opposite field instead of pulling it, and that's exactly what Cunningham did. And so now he stands on first as Kayla Pendleton is into the right-handed box, and he has a 1-0 count after that first pitch misses high. And the 1-0 breaking ball misses down. Interesting decision there from Seidel as he decided to go with a breaking ball while down in the count, and now he's even further down with a 2-0 count.
The sun is almost finally completely set.
There's just a little bit of sun left out in that right center gap there, but everybody is covered with shade now, as I'm sure that is a welcome sight for all outfielders for both teams.
Temperature drops a little bit here just as we're nearing 7:45.
Yeah, the nights here, definitely something that I'm going to have to get used to. A little bit colder than what I'm used to.
This isn't too bad for us. I mean, we definitely enjoy this cold front at night rather than the 90-degree days that we'll see in July. But
yeah.
I know down in Texas it's, 90 at all times?
Pretty much 90 around late July, early August. You'll get into the 100-degree days.
Oh, lovely.
Gets up to 104, 105. Nice brisk weather there.
Brisk, huh?
Oh, yeah. Especially whenever the hot wind comes out at like 10 miles an hour, just like a heater blowing in your face at all times.
Stay inside, pack up. I think I'd be sunburned year-round.
Yeah, pretty much. I've gotten to the point where I just don't burn anymore. I just heat up, pretty much.
Not too bad.
3-2 now the count. Pendleton has reached on an error so far tonight. He reached home as well on that RBI single from Romano. The 3-2. Breaking ball, he gets him looking. A beautiful pitch there for Seidel as that ends the top of the fourth, and we head to the bottom. The Harbor Hawks lead 2-0 on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Bottom of the fourth coming up as we have Brock Wilkin coming up, followed by Cade Beloso and Josh Hood. Brock Wilkin coming from Wake Forest up to play for the Mariners. As we have a new pitcher for the Harbor Hawks as well. The day is done for Hunter Dula, but now we have Cooper McKeon coming up for the Harbor Hawks, the lefty from Brigham Young University, BYU, over in Utah, making the long trek up to New England to play for Hyannis this summer.
Yeah, I was able to throw 25 and a third inning in 2021 at BYU. Struck out 35 batters. Did have 16 earned runs, but the strikeout numbers are impressive for sure.
He ended the season with a 5.68 ERA. Only gave up 3 home runs, but like you said, that walk to strikeout rate definitely impressive. 19 walks to his 35 strikeouts.
The walks are a little high since he threw the 25 innings, 19 walks. But as you mentioned, though, the strikeouts to walks are fine. So he had enough strikeouts. But you'd like to see that walk number get lowered and definitely work on that this summer.
That pitch to Wilkin is grounded in between shortstop and third base for a base hit. Brock Wilkin finds base for the first time tonight after going down with a fly out in the first, and he's on with a leadoff single. And that's going to bring Cade Beloso up to the plate now. Beloso out in left field for the Mariners here tonight. Beloso at 6 foot, 216 pounds, the junior at LSU. Go Tigers, as the quote is.
Are you an LSU fan?
No, I'm not.
All right.
I don't know. Yeah, I just love that line from Coach O. Just that every time, just go Tigers. That's all it is.
We have some dispute on the Go Tigers. Taylor, our sideline reporter, thinks it's Clemson.
Yeah. Clemson, as she said, Clemson is the real Tiger. Clemson, the real Tigers, instead of LSU.
I'm gonna go with LSU. Has Clemson won anything recently at football?
2019? No. Yeah, it was 2019.
Was it?
Yeah. LSU ended up winning it in.
It was 2019, but LSU's most recent though, right? I don't follow college football as
yeah,
much.
Joe Burrow took him to a championship in.
So LSU was 2019.
No, Clemson was 2019. LSU, I think, was 2020.
LSU was 2020. Okay, so we're square then. So we had LSU most recently, so they get to Go Tigers.
Yeah, as this one hit down the first base line, that'll be extra bases, and that is a double for Cade Beloso. Brock Wilkin is going to extend over to third. Beloso into second now with a double. And the Mariners with a great chance to tie the game here. Nobody out. Runners on second and third. And Josh Hood up to the plate. Hood, the third baseman, 0 for 1 on the night with a strikeout. Went down swinging in the second. And Cade Beloso now goes to 2 for 2 with a single and a double.
Yeah, great piece of hitting going down the first base line, just taking the fastball and driving it. Big chance here for Josh Hood. Still nobody out, Lincoln, so a shot here for Hood to put something in play and get a run in.
Yeah, we've seen some situations like this from the Harbor Hawks so far. Runners in scoring position with not a lot of outs, but most of the time this season they've been able to get out of those jams.
Yeah, and what a stop on that play by Pendleton. I mean, that ball was spiked in front of home, but came up on it, was able to keep it in front of him. That saves a run. And with the amount of room behind home plate to the backstop, a bad bounce, that could be 2 runs in this situation.
Josh Hood with a 1-1 count. He comes to us from NC State, actually. The junior decided to come here for the Cape Cod League while his Wolfpack currently remains in the College World Series, actually. They're making quite a run for themselves in the College World Series. Oh, I do. Okay, I do apologize. I see it now. So he's actually played for Penn up until this season when they canceled their seasons, and then he's actually transferring to NC State for the 2022 season. So that's why he's not in. Yeah, Now I feel kind of dumb. But this one, lofted, fouled as kids rush from all directions trying to grab that ball, tackling on top of each other. My goodness, just a dog pile.
They're really fighting over there. It's
Yeah,
like
they are.
10 of them
Just
battling.
Aggression. Good grief. They're going to poke your eye out, kid. Get that reference?
Full of quotes tonight. Yeah, look at you. What was that? Is that from Christmas Story?
Yeah, it is.
There you go.
I guess in that case it's you'll shoot your eye out, kid. But
My movie knowledge is limited, but I do get that one.
yeah, and see, the sad part is I've never seen that movie all the way through.
No?
No, I've seen parts of it. I've seen that part, but yeah, I've never seen the movie all the way through. It's kind of disappointing, I know, but
I haven't seen it all the way through either.
I prefer. Have you seen Christmas Vacation?
I have not. I'm really just a baseball movie guy. I don't really watch. I don't watch
That's
a ton
fair.
of movies at all.
Yeah.
I mean,
Christmas Vacation, along with It's a Wonderful Life, a couple of Christmas traditions in my family, so we watch them every year.
I'd throw on the NBA on Christmas Day.
Really?
I usually watch the Celtics lately embarrass themselves the last couple seasons, unfortunately. Maybe things will be different this year, but have not been the most impressive last 2 seasons for sure.
It's a rebuilding season.
That wasn't the intention, but that's how it turned out. So
2-2 now the count. McKeon brings it home. That's lined into left, and that will be brought in. A hard line drive caught by Hart again. Play at home will not be in time, and that'll score a run for the Mariners. As that was Wilkin coming home from third. And that was still a close play, even though he was only 90 feet. That throw coming in from Hart again. Cut off from Ball, and then the throw home was almost in time, just a little bit late. But now with a runner on second, the Mariners find that deficit cut in half, only down 2-1 now.
yeah, Hood really jumped all over the fastball and just, right at Hardigan, unfortunately. It got some oohs and ahs from the crowd here, too, as they thought that one off the bat. The sound it made it seem like it was going a little bit further, but it was hit so hard.
Yeah, I wish we could see what the velocity on that ball was, because my goodness, an absolute just rocket.
The exit velo.
Yeah.
Bat off the bat. You see guys like Giancarlo Stanton, 120 miles an hour off the bat.
Yeah.
And still put it 330 feet. You don't want to have that one coming at you at 120. I can't imagine what that would feel like, getting it right at your glove at third base.
Imagine palming that one. Like you make the grab, but it goes right in your palm.
Not a fun feeling. I can't
No.
imagine. That's why they call it the hot corner over at third.
Yeah.
It's coming at you.
Very good reason.
Better be ready.
0-2 now the count to Winkle. Winkle is 0 for 1 as he had a fly out into center back in the second. Winkle at catcher. Hit 284 for UConn this past season. 8th on the team behind former Mariner Christian Fedko, which I wonder if he happens to have any relation to Kyler Fedko from the Bourne Braves.
It's a good question.
It's not a
try to find that one out.
Yeah, it's not a usual last name that you'd hear, Fedko. It's not like Jones or
Right.
it's not like one of those well-known last names. The 0-2, big breaking ball swung on and missed there from Winkle. He goes down, a 3-pitch strikeout. As that is finally out number 1.
Great breaking ball there. Able to snap it off and get Winkle out in front. He threw it back-to-back pitches, and one was fouled off a little bit high in the zone, but got that one lower in the zone.
And
Great play.
that is actually out number 2. I do apologize there. I had that long, hard line drive out to left earlier. That was the first out, so I do apologize for that.
McKeon seems to be settling in on the mound a little more. The first 2 guys getting on base, a single followed by a double, but recording 2 outs in a row, he seems to have settled in a little bit more.
Yeah, and if he can get out of this inning with only scoring only one run being scored after getting 2 runners in scoring position without recording an out, that'll be honestly quite an impressive feat. As that 1-0 pitch, foul tipped, caught by Pendleton. That brings the count even at 1. 1-1, 2 away. Hawks currently leading 2-1 here in the bottom of the 4th. Playing field completely covered in shade as the sun starts to creep up the tree line out in the outfield. The 1-1 swung on a miss, that breaking ball at 82 miles an hour.
He's really got the breaking ball work, and we've seen it thrown for strikes in the last 2 at-bats, and he's getting them to whiff on it. We'll see if he doubles up here with 2 strikes in the at-bat and 2 outs in the inning.
Andrew Jenkins, 6-foot freshman from Georgia Tech, as we mentioned earlier. In his Georgia Tech season, as he lofts this one back towards center field. Diving play in center field from Rose, and he makes the grab. Sprinting over to his right. And just a magnificent play there from the center fielder to end the 4th inning. And the Mariners cut the lead in half, now trailing 2-1 with the Harbor Hawks. Coming up to the plate after this, you're watching the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Ryan Romano up to start us off here in the top of the 5th. That is, as he'll be followed by Caden Rose and Kyle Ball. 9-1-2 up for the Harbor Hawks. As we have a new pitcher coming up for the Mariners, that is going to be Trey Dombrowski, 6'5", 225 from Monmouth College, Monmouth University. As he brings that first pitch home for an 0-1 count. That ball finding the strike zone. Romano 1 for 1, had a single, a 2 RBI single back in the 2nd. And he ended up getting caught trying to steal second base. That ended that inning prematurely and ended a premature at bat for Caden Rose. The 1-1 from Dombrowski at 90 miles an hour finds the zone for strike 2.
And Dombrowski coming to us from Manasquan, New Jersey. Up here in New England for the summer. Can't say I've heard of that town.
I don't know any of the towns in New Jersey, I'll be honest.
Well, Texas isn't exactly neighbors with New Jersey, so
No,
I don't expect
really.
you to.
Yeah.
We're a little closer here in Massachusetts, obviously, but
yeah.
not really that close.
No, yeah. Whenever I know for sure whenever we have conversations about like towns up in here, you'll be like saying some town like way up north. I'll be like, I don't know where that is, but all right. That's really cool.
It helps that I'm from Massachusetts. I mean,
yeah.
knowing some of the area, but
yeah, I'm sure if you ever came down to Texas, you'd only know Dallas, maybe Dallas, Austin, Houston, maybe El Paso, but that's about it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Ripped up the middle for a base hit. Romano finds himself 2 for 2 on the night as he reaches first safely. And for his first appearance, quite an impressive outing so far for the second baseman.
Yeah, he's hit 2 line drives, pair of RBI for him as well. Was caught stealing, but redeems himself here by getting on to lead off the inning.
Maybe he'll redeem himself again. I don't think he'll try to steal a base after getting caught last time, but if he does, I'd love to see him redeem himself by reaching second safely. That first pitch to Rose is fouled off, a hard foul ball towards the Mariner bullpen.
Our manager, Gary Calhoun, had to do a little shuffle to get out of the way of that one. It was a off-speed pitch that just caught too much of the zone. You could tell Rose was ready for it. He was probably sitting fastball on the first pitch, but he was going to let it swing. Romano's good speed. He can definitely go first or third on something hit to the right side.
Dombrowski has done a good job this season of retiring plenty of batters by way of the strikeout. He had four starts, four times in 2021 where he struck out 10 batters or more for Monmouth College, Monmouth University, as he is a junior at Monmouth.
Makes it especially tough to steal if you're Romano with the left-handed pitcher on the mound staring you down.
Time is called at home plate as Dombrowski ended up just starting to come home, and then time was called, so he had to stop in mid-windup.
He was locked in on Romano getting his lead.
Romano with a decent-sized lead as he leans back towards first. He thought Dombrowski was going to try to pick him off.
We saw that curveball again, and Rose ahead of it for the second time in the at-bat. He's just trying to time up that fastball. If he finds it in the zone, Rose is really on right now, timing up Dombrowski pretty well.
Rose in the right-handed box. Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball, he gets him. And that curveball coming in at 79 miles an hour, just a perfect place as that finds the heart of the plate. And Rose goes down to 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts so far, as both of them were looking. And his other at-bat so far was a ground out over to short back in the third.
Kyle Ball up here now, Lincoln, one of the few guys who actually did play in the summer of 2020 with the Florida Collegiate League.
Dombrowski brings that first pitch home for
Still
ball one.
Only one out in the inning here. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in on you.
No, you're fine. I'm sorry I interrupted.
No. With only one out, you're still in business here for a hit and run, which I don't think is a bad play in this situation. You're up one. Definitely can make a play. A big hole on the right side between first and second.
Another breaking ball, 76 miles an hour, dropping in for strike one. Brings the count even at 1, and we have ones across the board, Austin. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out. 1 run for the Mariners, so lots of ones. The Harbor Hawks with 4 hits compared to the Mariners 3. The Mariners with 3 errors. Hyannis still with 0. Runner goes from first. Romano trying to get, and now he has to get back as this one lined into right field and is caught for out number 2 by Lazzaro.
I'm not saying I called it, but there was the hit and run that I just mentioned, and he hit it to the right side. So that is a prediction that came true.
See, and you've had quite a bit that have come true so far this season. I'm jealous. I have to say I'm jealous.
Now, I just had a feeling the way Romano was getting his lead that he was going to be going. And like I said, given that situation with 1 away in the inning, good speed, and the sizable gap on the right side, if he could put something there, which ball did, just hung up in the air, that's a chance for Romano to get all the way to third, maybe score, and just hung it up too much in the air.
Dombrowski anticipating a steal from Romano once again as he threw that ball in a pickoff move, and he comes home now. First pitch of this at-bat to Mitch Hartigan is a little low, ball 1. And we do apologize for viewers or listeners, that is, as due to us being away, we're actually having to do audio, as this one hit up the middle and it was picked up and thrown to first by Hughes. And that's Hartigan reaching first safely as that ball brought Wilkin actually off the bag.
And as you said, Lincoln, on the road games, we only do the audio stream. So at home, we'll have video and audio for those of you listening. But on the road, just audio only. As you'll see the score graphic throughout the game, the home teams do the video broadcast, but on the road, we just do audio, as per the Cape Cod League.
Yeah, not ideal for viewers, but I have to say for us broadcasters, it's actually quite helpful. We're getting radio and TV experience, and so it's a good little bit of a little dual broadcast action, I guess.
Hawks got a good chance here to get something. 2 outs, runners on first and second. They've put the ball in play well against Dombrowski so far.
Mason Greer at the plate watches this one go in the dirt, brings it out even, 1 ball and 1 strike. Greer 0 for 2 with a ground out and a strikeout so far, as he now has a 1-1 count. Greer, closely related to, for all my Rangers fans out there, closely related to Rusty Greer, a former outfielder for the Rangers, one of the best, as he is most well known for the Greer catch, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with that catch, Austin. Are you by any chance?
I am not.
So back whenever Rusty played for the Rangers, this was back in as this one hit over to second, and that is going to complete the top of the 5th inning, and Hyannis scoreless in that inning as we still lead 2-1 midway through 5. We'll be right back on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Back here at White House Field in Harwich, Massachusetts, for this game between the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and the Harwich Mariners. The Hawks currently leading by a score of 2-1 here midway through 5, as usually at this point in the games we usually switch off play-by-play and color duties here, but as we talked about last night, Austin actually took all of the play-by-play duties in last night's game, and so I'm actually taking a little bit of extended part on the play-by-play to give Austin a little more of a breather before he takes over in, did we say the 7th? Is that correct?
Yeah, since last night we got rained out, halfway through the bottom 4th, I believe?
Yeah,
so
about then, yeah.
If I had known, I would have split it 2 and 2 last night, but unfortunately Mother Nature didn't allow us to come up with a plan until it was already happening.
Yeah, hey, I don't think either of us were really worried about who got play-by-play,
No.
who got color, really. We just both wanted some experience, and, since I couldn't get anything last night, I'm getting a little more tonight, so I think we're both happy with it.
Absolutely. I'm not happy that it rained last night.
No,
that
definitely.
Everything got soaked, but hey, we're here.
A small dribbler down the third base line, and that is going to be fair, as that is a perfectly placed ball, as that is Hal Hughes with an he had an 0-2 count, and then that pitch coming in from Daniel Lloyd, who's currently on the mound for the Harbor Hawks. He dribbled that one down the third base line, and that stopped just a couple of feet from the chalk.
Daniel Lloyd making his first appearance for the Harbor Hawks this season, a right-handed pitcher. Did everything right in that at-bat. Got ahead 0-2, brings you the off-speed, but sometimes you do everything right, and then a ball like that you couldn't have placed any more perfectly. And unfortunately for Lloyd, the South Carolina pitcher, he's got the leadoff man on first.
And a little comment from our silent reporter, Taylor, as she just said once again, "Go Tigers!" But, you know, just a little bit of a friendly rivalry here. The 0-1, another dribbler down the third base line. This one picked up and in fair territory by Mann. Throw on the run. What a play! Another magnificent play, ESPN-worthy little da-na-na action as Mann in foul territory makes a throw on the run for out number 1.
What a play by Luke Mann, but what a dig at first by Mason Greer, scooping it out, and those two are on the same page tonight. Second time they've had that connection to get it out. And a terrific pitch by Daniel Lloyd. Got him reaching on the off-speed pitch, and his stuff looks great out of the bullpen so far. Only 4 pitches in, but I've been impressed with what I've seen. The 6'3" junior right-handed pitcher.
Yeah, and we've seen Lloyd once before, haven't we? I believe so. I want to say.
This is his season debut,
Is it?
Lloyd. Yes.
Oh, I do apologize. Okay. The name was familiar, so I thought maybe we'd seen him before, but I guess not. 1-0 now the count. This one to Nick Lucky as he watches that one go by. Brings the count now to 2-0. Lucky 0 for 2 with a fly out and a ground out in the first and third innings. And, you know, after that play by Greer over at first, you have to wonder if Coach Calhoun is going to let Greer get a little bit more playing time over at first in future games. He's doing a terrific job.
Yeah, he is. He's had a really effective game over at first, couple good digs, and we've seen him at third base, made some plays over there, and Luke Mann obviously displaying a terrific glove at third. Marcos Pujols, Zane Harris also in the mix at first, and they've done an exceptional job defensively. All around, the Harbor Hawks have been very crisp defensively. No errors in this game. They've been really, really solid all around.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with this infield that we've seen so far, and the outfield as well, just all around. Terrific fielding so far from the Harbor Hawks. And, you know, after the collaborations that we've seen between Mann and Greer, I kind of want to see them switched around. See Mann over at first and Greer at third, and see if we can get that same little bit of cooperation there from them. 3-1 fouled off, brings the count full at 3-2.
Daniel Lloyd is a sports and entertainment management major.
Interesting.
And was very effective this season in 2021 with a 3.07 ERA.
That ERA and 8 appearances for the Gamecocks this season. He struck out 13 in just
he had those 8 appearances in the 2020 season where that was cut short. And this year, the 41 innings pitched. Long pause from him here, Lincoln. He's trying to delay the steal, but he's going to go anyway.
3-2, runner goes over at third, and that throw is not in time from Pendleton. He tried to make the throw on his knees, but he couldn't get it there in time, as that is Hughes now at third with 2 away.
Now batting for the Harwich Mariners, number 22, the second baseman from Florida, Corey Acton.
You could see Lloyd extending his pause there, kind of waiting and waiting to see. But the runner went anyway.
Acton at 0 for 2 on the night as he steps back into the left-handed box. He struck out twice. Pendleton behind the plate, yelling some direction to his fielders as he's taking some command here in this inning, part of the battery for the Harbor Hawks. So that one misses down low and in. Brings the count to 1-0. Lloyd, the righty, finds the outside corner. Brings the count even at 1-1. That fastball at 92. The sun now completely gone as we're seeing just a little bit left of daylight. Clouds now taking a nice little light pink shade, almost an orange, I guess. Little mix between orange and pink, I'd say. Sky a little darker blue than it was at the beginning of the game as the 2-1 comes in up high. And he gets just past Pendleton. Brings the count now to 3-1.
He's got his fastball working for him. It wasn't in the zone the last 2 pitches, but at 93, then 92. Showing some solid speed, does Lloyd. A lot of scouts taking notes with their radar guns as well.
3-1 the count, 2 away. Lloyd delivers. Finds the outside corner once again, which has been so elusive the past couple of days. The pitchers over the last couple of days have had some trouble at times finding that outside corner, but Lloyd settling in nicely as he's already found it a couple of times in this at-bat. Count now full, 3-2, 2 away, looking to get out of this inning with a runner on third, looking to keep that lead. And that payoff pitch misses just a bit low. There's a great eye there from Acton as he finds base for the first time tonight.
Now batting for the Harwich Mariners, number 25, the first baseman from Wake Forest, Brock Wilkin.
Brock Wilkin, the Wake Forest freshman, now stepping into the box once again. Wilkin 1 for 2, a fly out and a single to his name. As Lloyd brings his first pitch home. Breaking ball 82 miles an hour in there for strike 1. Count goes to 0-1, 2 away. Named to the 2021 ACC All-Freshman Team and 2021 Third Team All-ACC. A couple of All-Conference honors for the first baseman tonight.
Taking a look at some scores around the league. Bourne still leading Falmouth, this time by a score of 10-5, bottom 7 there. And the Brewster Whitecaps trailing Chatham 1-0.
And that is called strike 3. Outside corner once again as Lloyd putting some nice work in as he shuts the Mariners down. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, 1 left stranded. We head to the 6th. Mariners trailing the Harbor Hawks 2-1. Baseball Network.
Top 6.
Top of the 6th coming here from White House Field. Harbor Hawks leading the Mariners by a score of 2-1 here heading into the 6th inning. Up now for the Harbor Hawks, Luke Mann starting here, followed by Dominic Johnson and Jake Cunningham. The 5, 6, and 7 hole hitters coming up. As we've seen this order before, is that They came in back in the 4th. And the 2nd, for that matter. Started off in the 2nd, 4th, and 6th innings. As Mann currently 0 for 2 with a flyout and a strikeout. He went down looking in his 2nd at bat back in the 4th. Seen a couple of fantastic plays from Mann so far tonight. A couple of throws on the run. Nice stretches by Greer on those plays as well. The 1-1 drops in for a strike. That breaking ball, 76 miles an hour on the radar. Brings the count now to 1-2.
Might double up and see that breaking ball again.
It's really been working for him so far.
It has.
And the 1-2. Breaking ball once again, as that actually misses outside for ball 2.
Now, usually you don't triple up on a pitch, so it might be back to the fastball here. Probably something on the inside half to try to jam Mann. Lefty-lefty matchup, kind of tough to get around on it. He does triple up.
And he tripled up, and that one finds the zone, as that is Mann going down looking for the 2nd time tonight. He's 0 for 3 on the night. That brings Dominic Johnson, the Cowboy, to the plate. Dominic from Oklahoma State. Former Cowboy, I should say, as he just announced he was transferring to Kansas State, as we mentioned earlier tonight.
And he is probably not in the best mood today because he's a big Oklahoma City Thunder fan, and they did not end up getting the #1 pick in the lottery last night. And he's a big Cade Cunningham guy. The top prospect in this year's NBA draft was actually Dominic's tutor at Oklahoma State, so he was really hoping Cade would be on the hometown Thunder team, but it doesn't look that way. So I haven't been able to chat with him since the lottery, but before the draft lottery, Dominic was very excited for the Thunder, and he might be a little disappointed now.
No, I didn't see who got the first pick in the lottery. Who did get the first pick?
The Detroit Pistons. And
apparently,
Cade Cunningham only plans to meet with them, but they're going to meet with a few guys, do their due diligence. But it seems like Cade Cunningham is a consensus #1 pick this year in the NBA.
Sort of the Trevor Lawrence of the NBA, I guess you could say.
In a way, I think Lawrence is a little different because he's had that value for 2 or 3 years. You've known, 2 years out, that's the guy who's going to be #1. But Cade kind of built up his value over the last couple seasons, Right, and Cade over March Madness, too, started to improve his draft stock.
The 2-2, Dominic swings and misses. He can't connect. He goes down to 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts as well. His last 2 at-bats have been swinging strikeouts as opposed to Mann's looking strikeouts. And with 2 away, Jake Cunningham now steps to the plate for his 3rd appearance. He reached base once, had a strikeout in the 4th. No, I do apologize. I was reading the wrong line. That he's actually reached base twice, once on an error and again on a single, as he is 1 for 1.
He's also got a stolen base to his credit and a run scored. He's done everything right in this ball game so far.
And the 0-1 lofted and fouled as that'll head out of play. Kids scrambling for it once again. And it seems that more and more of them have come to the fight.
Yeah, they're going in the woods.
Yeah,
40 feet in, they're not afraid.
Yeah, no. As the game has gone on, there have been more and more of them that have gone on out to that little area just waiting for something to come along. They'll have gloves, anything you can catch a ball with.
Well, poison ivy doesn't exist when there's a souvenir on the line. So.
Exactly. Hey, don't you know, just some aloe vera, just take it away perfectly. Little dribbler down the first base line. That's going to be picked up and thrown over to first for out number 3. That was Dombrowski making the grab. And we now head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Hawks still leading 2-1 over the Mariners on the Harbor Hawk Baseball Network. White House Field, the spot for this Wednesday night action here for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and the Mariners of Harwich, as the Harbor Hawks currently lead 2-1 here in the bottom of the 6th. And we have a new pitcher on the mound for the Harbor Hawks as Trey Robertson gets his second appearance. He had his first appearance against the Bourne Braves back on opening night. And he's back on the mound against the Mariners here. And it seems we have a little bit of a trend, as Dula started the first 3 innings, and since then we've had 3 different pitchers in 3 innings. And at the plate now for the Mariners, Cade Beloso fouls this one off, evens the count at 1-1.
Yeah, in the first start of the year, first appearance rather, Robertson unfortunately gave 3 earned runs on 4 hits, 2 walks. It was the 2 home runs in the Bourne game. Just missed with a couple of fastballs, but looking to work on the command and have a quick inning here.
And he brings that breaking ball home at 77 miles an hour, drops just low for ball 2. Good scoop there from Pendleton, who's still behind the mound, or behind the plate, that is. 2-1. Robertson, the southpaw, brings that one home high and inside.
90 miles an hour on the fastball, a breaking ball at 78. Good mix there between the two.
Very good. Good speed difference.
I'll admit it's getting a little cold. I wasn't cold a few minutes ago, but now it's really, the temperature's starting to drop off.
And that 3-1 misses high and away, and that is ball 4. And so Beloso reaches on a walk as he is on base for the 3rd time tonight. 2 for 2 with a single and a double, and he just reached on a walk.
Yeah, mean 63 degrees now here in Harwich.
Oof. And it's not much of a difference from the first pitch tonight, but with that sun going down, it really does make a difference.
Yeah, it's getting chilly. I mean, for you, this must be like winter.
Oh, yeah. This is usually a good I'll just say this. On Christmas Day, the past couple of years, it's been 80 degrees.
Well, that's different.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder how the players like Mason Greer are adjusting. The guys from Texas, too.
Oh, this is like once
this
you
must
get
be a little chilly for them for baseball weather, too.
Well, actually, for the most part, yes, you'll get this weather in probably March, April, like the whole month of March, early April. As this one hit over to short, that's going to be tossed over to second for 1. Over to first is offline as Greer has to leap off of first. So they'll get the runner going at second, as that was Ball tossing it over to Romano for that first out at second base. So Beloso is going to be out at second, but instead Josh Hood is going to be in at first now after that fielder's choice.
Solid contact there, just got on top of it. And that's the exact spot that Robertson wanted to be hit. Right to short, tailor-made double play, just throw a little bit offline by Romano. But they do get the lead runner, which is of importance here.
But, yeah, like I was saying, it was like the whole month of March, early April, you'll get like this weather where you have to have like a light jacket on when you're in the dugout. But, yeah, once you get past like early April, then it gets hot.
I'll tell you, Kayla Pendleton having a great game back behind home plate today.
He has his really just a stone wall back behind the plate, making sure everything stays in front of him. He's had a couple get maybe a couple of feet behind him, but he's done a really good job. 1-0 the count. Robertson delivers as that one is fouled straight back towards the press box. If that fence wasn't there, it would have hit off the wood. And the clouds now taking a fully pink shape as the amount of daylight we have becomes less and less. Artificial light now the main source of light here tonight at White House Field.
The flag could not be any more still out in right center field.
No, there's no wind. Earlier the American flag and that flag on just to the right of the old Stars and Stripes, they were both waving in the wind. That one on the left actually was stuck to the pole. It was like twisted around, so it wasn't moving. But I can't remember what that flag said. I think it said Ebbett, actually.
Gotcha.
Not sure if it's in relation to Ebbett's field, but it's good.
Not moving now, so we're not going to be able to find out.
No, definitely not. No, there's no wind at all. It's just nice and cold.
The ball can still jump off the bat, though, in this weather.
The 1-2 misses just outside, evens the count at 2-2. Now at the plate, Pat Winkle. as he is 0 for 2 with a flyout and a strikeout. Went down swinging back in the 4th in his last appearance. Still a lot of fans, lots of jackets have made their way out so far tonight as the temperature continues to drop. Robertson breaking ball, he gets him swinging with the 2-2. And Winkle with 2 strikeouts on the night now goes down to 0 for 3 with Andrew Jenkins coming up to the plate.
Nasty breaking ball there by Robertson. A pitch that he didn't throw a ton in Bourne in opening night on Sunday, but he's got it working here. Really, really effective pitch.
We have some action in the Mariners bullpen once again, as this is going to be Carson Seymour getting loose out for the Mariners. Robertson with his first pitch to Jenkins is fouled off. Count goes to 0-1, 2 away. And as I mentioned earlier in the game, the Harbor Hawks only 2 points out of a tie for that first place spot. They'll be tied with Bourne if they can get the win here tonight. Harwich has a little ways to go. They're 5 points out of first. They haven't notched any points so far this season, as they are 0-2 on the season. As this ball gets past Pendleton, and that is going to be Hood making his way over to second on that pass ball. And you know, Austin, I think I just jinxed again, as just a couple of minutes after I was talking about what a stone wall Pendleton has been, he gets one off of the glove that rolls all the way to the backstop.
I think it was a mix-up in signs, as you see Robertson and Pendleton now having a conference at the mound, as Pendleton was set up out, down and out, but it was a fastball that just sailed up in the zone on him. So almost impossible for Pendleton to put a glove on that one and hold on to it. So I think that's what prompted the mound visit there. And Pendleton has done a terrific job, though, as the captain of this infield today. He's been very vocal with the infielders, really running this defense. Everyone's been aware of the situation, the scenario, and what they're going to do. And preparation is definitely key in a one-run ball game.
Pendleton sporting that all-black catcher's gear, except for the face mask, which is a nice red, almost the same red as the stirrups and helmets for this Mariners team. It's almost like a cherry red.
Hood had a large secondary lead. I'd expect something here for Robertson to differ up the delivery on the next pitch or so.
The 2-1 high cheese is blown past Jenkins. That is a 2-2 count now. That fastball at 89 miles an hour. Two and two with 2 away. Robertson with a quick look at second. He comes home. Breaking ball is fouled off and will stay at 2-2. And you know, Austin, I'm going to go ahead and bring out that little trend I was talking about a couple of nights ago. Bring my mouthpiece up a little bit. Time to shake the hat. Got to shake it side to side.
I still don't know. What is this for again?
So it's like a little good luck charm. You're supposed to sort of, with a 2-2 count, you like shake the hat.
Okay.
It's supposed to bring good luck.
All right.
It's like a little it's a superstition, big superstition down in the Lone Star State.
Let's see how it goes.
Runner goes from third, high throw. Throw from Pendleton, not in time. The throw was on time, but the tag actually came a little bit late there from Mann, as the count now goes to full. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Stolen base there for Hood. You knew he was going at some point. He kept getting a big secondary lead. Robertson didn't throw over. I mean, with 2 away, you're kind of focused on the batter anyway, especially in a full count now.
Yeah, exactly. And with his primary lead also was pretty big, as this one hit up the middle. That's easy play for Robertson, as he'll toss that one over to first for out number 3, and that'll end the 6th. The Hawks maintain that lead after an early threat from the Mariners, and we lead 2-1 heading into the 7th here on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. White House Field here for the 7th inning of play. Almost time for that 7th inning stretch, but first, the Harbor Hawks get their turn at the plate as Kayla Pendleton is going to start us off, followed by Ryan Romano and Caden Rose. 8-9-1 coming up for the Harbor Hawks as we have a new pitcher in for the Mariners. This is going to be Carson Seymour coming in to deal as this first pitch is lifted towards the foul line down the first base side, and that is going to be brought in. That catch being made by Lazzaro out in right field for out number 1. And he had to cover quite a bit of ground to make that play, but a very athletic play nonetheless.
That he did. He ran a very long way, you said, Lincoln, and that's what's important to have, especially in a ballpark like this where there is more foul territory than in other ballparks and a lot more ground to cover. A speedy outfield definitely goes a long way. And for Seymour now on the hill for the Mariners, he's from K-State.
Seymour towering on that mound there. 6'6", 260 pounds. Just a massive pitcher. And if you look whenever he pitches, he gets quite a ways down the mound too. Quite a big advantage for the big pitcher. 1-0 the count. He's in the stretch. Started in the stretch with one away as this one's hit towards the second base side. No one's on first, but he's going to get there as that was Seymour coming over from the mound and just beat out the threat from Romano as that is his first time not getting on base tonight as that goes down as a 3-1 of sorts.
I thought Ryan Romano was about to have his third single of the night, but man, Seymour, for somebody 6'5", 6'6", he can really get over there to cover the bag.
Yeah, lots of ground covered. And that was just it was almost a perfectly placed ball there from Romano. I was sure he was going to get a single as well, and he's still had a great night, 2 for 3 on the night so far. But I thought he'd be 3 for 3 tonight and have a perfect batting average heading into the off day. Now, as y'all know, under the new format, this wasn't the original plan, but after tonight's game, we're actually going to have an off day tomorrow night. And so we'll be back in action Friday night. That'll be back in Hyannis as this one hit over towards third, a high chopper as that is going to be brought in by Hood. Throw to first is in time for out number 3. That ends the top of the 7th. Hyannis goes down quietly, 3 up, 3 down. And we're going to start the bottom of the 7th here soon. But first, we're going to have our silent reporter, Taylor Farmer. Taylor, what do you have for us?
So earlier in the broadcast, y'all mentioned the switch that these players make now using the wooden bats. And thanks to South Bat, I've learned a little bit tonight about the wooden bat. Since metal bats are more forgiving, wood bats keep you mechanically sound. Wood bats increase barrel weight, improves your power and speed. With a smaller sweet spot, you'll be forced to use better overall technique by keeping your hands inside, your weight back, and extending the arms fully through the ball. And I will say, it's a nice sound to hear the ball coming off of these wooden bats.
That it is, Taylor, and you really just can't match the sound that you get from those wooden bats. Just a trademark sound of America's pastime and one of the greatest sounds that, in my opinion, that has ever graced my ears.
Yeah, you know when somebody barrels one up, you can kind of tell sometimes that it's going to travel. I think some of the classic David Ortiz swings, being around the Massachusetts area.
Oh, David Ortiz, a player I feel like even for the newest baseball fan, I feel like everybody knows the name either David Ortiz or what he's more commonly known as, Big Papi.
And he made a name for himself, not only as a power threat all season, but in the postseason he just was so different than so many other guys. Just, one of the most clutch players of all time.
And we're going to have another new pitcher come in as this is Marc Adamiak set to start off as he comes to us from Arkansas, the Razorback. And he was almost at the College World Series this season, which is currently going on right now, but Arkansas was actually beat out by NC State in the Super Regional as they ended up taking it. NC State ended up taking a 1-0 deficit, or 1-0 game deficit, and then winning the next 2 and upsetting the number 1 team in the country.
And Adamiak plans to major in medicine as well at Arkansas.
Wow. That's something you definitely don't see every day, a medical student playing baseball with all of that work piled up, lots of labs. You have to study very, very hard to be any kind of medical student, and just to that just makes it even more impressive that he's one of the top, that he's in the Cape League while a pre-med student.
Yeah, we're putting together quite the roster of majors and jobs. We had someone the other night who was interested in being a lawyer. I believe Dominic Johnson on the Harbor Hawks and interested in being an investment banker. So quite the roster of athletes and different fields of study here, as sometimes you forget that these guys are college athletes. They're student athletes as well. They not only on the field but in the classroom during the school year. Obviously here in the summer, no summer classes that we know of for most of them.
Yeah, and what you'll hear a lot of people say is that baseball in its own way, once you get to the college level, is its own full-time job. And so
it is
for all of these students, a full-time student and a full-time baseball player, just so impressive, honestly. This first pitch from a Damiak is missed for ball 1 as the count goes to 1-0. He's moving quickly as he's already bringing home that second pitch, and that misses low for ball 2. Up at the plate now for the Mariners is going to be Hal Hughes. He'll be followed by Jake Lazzaro and Nick Lucky. 8-9-1 coming up for the Mariners. The 2-0 line foul just over the Mariner bullpen.
Bullpen goes scattering again,
which I can't blame him after what happened earlier in the game. That towering fly ball that landed just a couple feet from the bench sent everybody running every which way.
You know, notice here in the Cape League, most of the bullpens are in play. Hyannis. We also have the bullpen in play here in Harwich.
Something we saw in Bourne, actually. The bullpens were a long ways away as they were out in the outfield, almost the major league position.
Long run to get in, but
love to see some of the fun ways, especially down in the minor league, that they'll have the players make their way from the bullpen to the field. I can't remember what team it was, but there's one team that whenever they bring a pitcher in, they bring him in on a Segway. Forgot what team it was. I can't believe I'm forgetting it now, but it's quite amusing to see.
Jared Hughes, the old relief pitcher, used to sprint in from the bullpen.
I do remember that, yes.
Spent some time with the Phillies, Pirates, amongst other teams. I mean, I'd get winded, I think, by the time I got to the mound.
Oh, yeah, I'd be ready to get taken out by the time I got in. And another ball sent into the mob of kids. Oh, and it lands there, all lost. And, oh, no. Landed right in front of one of them. Landed right in front of a nice little girl, and she was kind of hesitant to pick it up. Didn't want to get mobbed, didn't want to get tackled. Ended up getting it, and just something you love to see. As that 3-2 pitch misses down low, ball 4. Hughes reaches first on a full count walk. And that brings Jake Lazzaro. Lazzaro in right field, as we've seen all game long. Currently 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground out to his name. Nobody out. Runner on first now for the Harbor Hawks. Damiak comes set. He looks over at first. Comes home. That ball gets past Pendleton. And that enables Hughes to get to second easily. Runner in scoring position now for the Mariners. And this lead for the Harbor Hawks is almost in jeopardy. I wouldn't say that it is yet, but it's, if Hughes can find a way to get to third, you really have to start worrying about this lead for the Harbor Hawks.
Yeah, 2 runs, 5 hits for Hyannis, no errors. The difference in the ball game, 1 run, 4 hits, but 3 errors for Harwich, which has been the key to this game. A couple errors that cost the Mariners, as Hyannis was able to benefit thanks in part to a 2 RBI single from Ryan Romano.
That pitch, a called strike, brings the count even to 1-1. Now Lazzaro has seen 3 different pitchers, as have most of the batters, actually. But Lazzaro has gone up as he lofts this one towards left field, and that's going to drop for a base hit. That's going to be Hardigan picking that one up, throwing home. No run is going to come in as runners are going to stop at the corners, as that is Hughes now at third. Lazzaro in at first with that single. And now it's, you don't want to start worrying too much, but you got to start wondering if that run's going to come in. Harbor Hawks, who have led all throughout this game since the second inning, scoring 2 runs in that inning, have been scoreless since then. The Mariners scoring a run back in the 4th, and that has been all the action we've seen tonight. But the tying run for the Mariners now just 90 feet away over at third base, and the go-ahead run now on first.
A little bit of a difficult situation for Adamiak out of the bullpen into the game. Runners on the corners. Lincoln, as you said, he's just got to look to get an out here. The infield's not playing in. Just pitch to contact. I mean, obviously, you'd like to get a strikeout to get 1 out on the board, but need an out.
Adamiak misses that first pitch inside, just a bit inside, as that brings the count now to 1-0. And, you know, I would say that a double play here would be really good for the Harbor Hawks, but with a runner on third, kind of wonder if it gets to the infield in time, if they're going to go home with it or if they're going to try for the double play straight off.
Yeah, they don't have the infield in. The middle infield probably doesn't have a shot at getting the runner coming home. If there's something on the ground to Man or Greer at the corners, you might, but has to be hit hard. I mean, the runner's going to freeze if it's hit too hard. But up the middle, it's a run and we're tied.
1-1 now the count. Adamiak comes set, taking a few extra steps before placing the glove at his stomach. Kicks, delivers, and that is fouled off through the trees, lands on top of one of the buildings here at White House Field, and we have a 1-2 count. And now if you can get this out, if you can get this one out by a strikeout or anything in the infield, then that opens it up for a double play, and you could get out of this jam quite easily, which would be very fortunate for this team.
Absolutely. The Harbor Hawks had a chance at a double play earlier, but throw that was offline by Romano allowed them to not convert on the double play, so they didn't have to have a quicker turn this time if we get to that situation.
Nick Lucky watches that one go low as he had to lean out of the way of that one. 2-2 now the count. Lucky 0 for 3 with a flyout, ground out, and a strikeout. He's gotten out about every which way you can, as he now has a 2-2 count. Adamiak comes set, takes a look over at first. Long pause here. Kicks, comes home, runner goes, throw up high for ball 3, and there goes the chance of a double play. Traditional double play, that is, as Lazzaro now into second, and that's 2 runners in scoring position now. Chance, a base hit for the Mariners could put them in the lead.
No throw down from Pendleton there, as if you throw down to second, I mean, a decent lead over at third by Hughes and decent speed. He's probably coming home. So a smart play just to let the runner take second at that point.
Full count. Adamiak with the payoff, misses high, ball 4, and that loads the bases with Corey Acton stepping to the plate.
A little bit of trouble locating for Adamiak. He's been around the zone, got a couple strikes on the last 2 batters, but unfortunately it loads the bases. But you'd probably rather load the bases at this point, because the runner on first doesn't necessarily mean as much, because the runner on second's a go-ahead run. So I'd rather load the bases, put the double play back in order, than have second and third with no outs, obviously. But we'll see what they can do here. Greer's the closest one in here. Lincoln at third. He's about even with the bag, while the middle infield's playing double play depth, and you have Greer over at first base, Man at third, and Greer's set pretty far back. No shot at him coming home with the ball.
Yeah.
So
I'm kind of wondering why, with no outs, you don't want to bring the infield in here. Try to go for that home double play, get the out,
right,
and then go to first. The perfect double play there. And Coach Calhoun, with a 2-0 count, is going to come out and have a little talk with Adamiak, having some trouble on the mound. He's 3 straight batters for Adamiak. The first 3 that he's faced have found the bag and found base in some way.
I think his day might be done. We'll have a little chat, but 2-0. We've seen a couple pitching changes this year mid-at-bat in the DeCouta game. That seemed to be the theme of things, but might let him go at least one more batter. It seems that Coach Calhoun will. Thought for a minute he was coming out to make the changes. He glanced down to the bullpen down the right field line, but opted to pause and let Adamiak at least finish the batter.
Yeah, I feel like at this point you don't want to take him out just yet. You want to let him try to redeem himself. And if they end up tying the game, that's when you take him out. But at this point, I think it's nice that he's trying to let him redeem himself and get some outs on the board. 2-0 now the count. Acton in the left-handed box. Adamiak comes home. 2-0 misses outside. 3-0 the count.
He's got great velocity on the fastball, sitting 93, 94. Does Adamiak just a little bit of trouble locating it. He's not necessarily wild. It's just a little bit outside the zone. He's nibbling the corners, just not getting the call.
The 3-0. At this point, you just find the zone, in which he did not, and that will walk in a run. We have a tie game. The go-ahead run for the Mariners now standing on third base, and that will do it for Adamiak as Coach Calhoun is going to head back out to the mound, and we are going to have a pitching change here. Hughes ends up coming in from third, and we have a tie game at 2 runs apiece, and we're going to take a little bit of a break as we have a pitching change coming up for the Harbor Hawks, but we will be right back on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. A pitching change coming in for the Harbor Hawks as this is going to be Austin Wallace from Austin, Texas. Goes to the University of Texas, a Longhorn. It hasn't had much action this season for the Longhorns. He only had 1 appearance, and in that appearance went 2 innings with and allowed 1 earned run for a 4.5 ERA, 4.50.
His job here is to get an out. No outs in the inning. He just needs to get 1 on the board for Hyannis.
Yeah, very dangerous situation here for the Harbor Hawks. Bases are loaded as a run just came in. Corey Acton now at first, Jake Lazzaro at third, and over at second is Nick Lucky.
Great curveball to start him off. Definitely was sitting fastball. 71 miles an hour on the gun. That's how you start a hitter off balance.
Brock Wilkin currently at the plate. He's 1 for 3. As he swings and pounds that one foul, though, as that heads a good long ways. More kids. Oh, a couple take a stumble out by the foul pole out in left field. My goodness. As one of them is slow to get up. Oh, my goodness. He might be a little injured. Hope he's okay. But A couple of them got tripped up there. But another lucky fan with a little souvenir to take home. 0-2 the count as that ball misses a little low for ball one.
He has the best breaking ball I've seen in this game so far.
Yeah,
Can really snap it off. 70 miles an hour. That speed difference is definitely throwing off Wilkin.
magnificent stuff.
All off speed in this at bat. See if he sticks with it.
The 1-2, Wallace. The left-hander comes home, misses at 89 miles an hour. The fastball misses low and away for ball two. Nervous situation here. You have a tie game now, not out of hand at this point. Still have it in control. Just at a little disadvantage with the bases loaded. 2-2 the count. And that one in the dirt. Good stop there from Pendleton, being able to keep that one in front of him. Keep from another run scoring. And a little bit of a drop there from Austin, as started out with an 0-2 count, and then he's thrown 3 straight balls.
Tried to get him fishing there on the breaking ball at 69 miles per hour, the slowest pitch he's thrown so far out of the 3. 3-2 now. Got to give him your best pitch here with the bases loaded.
Wallace with the payoff. Breaking ball hit towards the third base line. That will be fair, just on the line. One run's going to come in. Another run's going to come in, as that was Hardigan throwing that one in. 2 runs score, and the Mariners take a 4-2 lead here in the bottom of the 7th.
And walks will come back to hurt you. And that's what we see here. Adamiak came in, a walk, a single, a walk, and a walk. And free bases are going to hurt you. 2 RBI single there.
3 straight batters reached earlier on in this inning, and they've all come home, most of them at least. There's still one more, Corey Acton, who's currently on second. He was the last batter that Adamiak faced, ended up walking him. And that ball from Wilkin actually turned into just a long single, even though that went all the way down in the corner out and left. 0-1 the count to Beloso. Pitch comes in, another breaking ball down in the dirt.
Just so much room here at White House Field, especially with the longer dimensions than a couple of the other ballparks here in the Cape Cod Baseball League. And that ball just found the corner. Had to have been, within a foot or 2 of the foul line.
I really thought that was going to be foul. I was hoping it was foul, but just a lucky break for the Mariners here, as they now lead by 2. Swing and a miss there. Ball gets past Pendleton. So he's going to head back to the backstop and pick that ball up. A long way to go to the backstop here at White House Field. A much longer distance to this backstop than it is over at Judy Warren Scarafile Field. Julie Walden Scarafile Field, I will say. I do apologize for that.
1-2 count. Breaking ball's been working. I expect him to go back here.
1-2 the count. Wallace, the lefty, out of the stretch. As his throwing arm dangling at his side, steps off. Beloso has reached base 3 times this night, 3 times tonight, a single, a double, and he reached on a walk back in the 6th. This one in the dirt once again. Pendleton getting some good work back there, a nice little workout here tonight, as he's had to stop a handful of balls this game. 2-2. Now the count. Still looking for that all-important first out of tonight's game.
Really wants to get him swinging on the breaking ball. We'll see if he can go again.
Ball ripped down the first base line, backhanded by Greer, as he's going to step on the bag. Runners will stay, except for that is going to be Wilkin, as he's stopped at second. And interesting little play coming towards home, as that's going to be, that was Kyle Ball coming all the way from short to make the tag. That's a double play. So the Harbor Hawks with just about as unique a double play as you can have.
Well, just a perfect play by Mason Greer. He got the ball on the ground at first and froze both runners, steps on the bag for 1 out, and then catches the runner in between second and third, which forces the runner on third and Acton to come home.
And I'm pretty sure you're going to score that as a 3-6 double play. It took a lot longer than it seems, but a 3-6 double play on that.
After all that, a runner on third now, Lincoln, with 2 away. And if you're Austin Wallace, you're 1 more out away from working through this. A tough inning, but he's done his job for the most part.
That one ripped into the gap between left and center field for a base hit, as that is going to be below. That's going to be Hood actually reaching second on an RBI double. The Mariners extend their lead to 5-2 here in the bottom of the 7th. A 4-run inning here for the Mariners.
Tough inning for Hyannis. Again, started with the walks.
And I have to say, after that double play, I had a good feeling about this next at bat, but Josh Hood proves me wrong as he rips that one into the gap. And that's going to bring Pat Winkle to the plate. Winkle has had some trouble at the plate tonight. 0 for 3 with a flyout and a pair of Ks as he went down swinging in both the 4th and the 6th inning.
Good
and
block.
The Mariners, something you don't want to see, as they have almost gone completely through the lineup, as Winkle and Jenkins, who is currently on deck, the last 2 batters that have not seen this inning so far. Runner on second once again. Game time just past 2.5 hours as that one swung on and missed. That brings the count to 1-1. Now the Mariners get an off day. There's one game tomorrow. It's Bourne, and I forgot who the other. Or it's Orleans and someone. I don't think it's Bourne, but it's
Orleans and Katuitt.
Ah, that's right. All right, so the Firebirds and the Kedliers are going to be battling it out tomorrow. The lone game in the Cape League tomorrow night.
And the Harbor Hawks have Thursdays off except for July 8th. The one time they'll have.
Swing and a miss, that breaking ball on the 1-2. Ball in the dirt, so that's going to be thrown over to first for out number 3. And a long inning finally ends. The Mariners score 4 and move to the lead, now leading 5-2 after 7 full innings of play. And we'll be back for the 8th here on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Top of the 8th coming up here from White House Field. And for these last 2 innings of play, Austin, I'm going to pass play-by-play duty down to you. So off you go.
Thank you, Lincoln. Terrific job once again handling the bulk of the game tonight. As we mentioned, we had the rain out last night halfway through. And for Hyannis now chasing 3 runs, a little bit of a rough spot in the bottom of the 7th inning. 4 runs come across for Harwich. Kyle Ball going to lead things off here for Hyannis as he takes a called strike, 93-mile-per-hour fastball at the knees.
Yeah, that bottom of the 7th was a very rough little inning for the Harbor Hawks. They were leading for a vast majority of the game up until that 7th inning, and then the Mariners just took a commanding 5-2 lead after a 4-run inning.
Still a couple at-bats left here for Hyannis, top 8. Ball is 0 for 2 tonight. Lined out in the first, flew out in the 5th. He also has a walk. Carson Seymour back on the hill for the Mariners for his 2nd inning of work. Worked a 1-2-3 top of the 7th just a few minutes ago. He's behind Kyle Ball 2-1. It's 2-3-4 due up this inning for Hyannis. You're seeing Ball now, then Hardigan and Mason Greer in the cleanup spot. The 2-1. Called strike at the belt. Count evens up at 2-2, and Seymour touches 94 with that fastball.
Ball is a communication and media studies major at Stetson University. We've mentioned that earlier on in this game.
Seymour pauses, now delivers the 2-2. Low in the zone, and that'll be ball 3 as the count moves to full.
And I think that was the opposite side, really, that Winkle wanted, as he was leaning in towards that inside corner, and then that ball ended up going off of his foot on that outside part of the plate.
And cut on and miss as ball goes down swinging for out number 1 in the top of the 8th.
That's a tempting pitch right there from Seymour. That high fastball looks so tempting to the eyes of a batter, and you think that ball is bigger than it is, and just ball couldn't hold off from it, and there's one away now.
One away, Hardigan digs in for the 4th time tonight, swinging at the first pitch and pops it out of play. He'll be behind the count 0-1. Hardigan singled back in inning number 1. Just about 2 hours and 15 minutes ago to this point. Or a little further now, 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Yeah, just about. We started a little bit later than we have all season long. All of our games up to this point have been 6 o'clock start times. This one a little bit later at 6:30.
And a healthy cut at the fastball, 96 now from Seymour as he ramps up in his 2nd inning of work. Looking to retire the 5th straight batter.
Fastest that we've seen all night long, I'm pretty sure. We've seen some low 90s work, but nothing above 94, 95.
The Mariners have actually retired 11 straight batters. Check swing, did he go? They'll check with the third base umpire. He'll say that Hardigan held up in time. Count moves to 1-2.
And from this angle, it looked at first like that actually bounced off of the ankle of Hardigan, but I guess it just barely missed as that ended up spraying some dirt up instead.
The 1-2 is hit well to center field. Charging in to make the catch is Lucky. And for Hardigan, that's an unlucky out number 2.
Nice. Nice one. But, yeah, that was just, yeah, like you said, it was just unlucky. And Lucky barely even had to move. He just came up a couple of steps and just was able to stand there and make a pretty easy catch for out number 2.
Hit that ball right on the nose, just to dead center. And with 2 away in the top of the 8th inning, that brings in Mason Greer, the first baseman. Sometimes you'll find him at third. He takes a called strike, 0-1 the count. Greer has grounded out to second base twice tonight and struck out swinging. 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors for Hyannis. 5 runs, 7 hits, 3 errors for the Harwich Mariners. That ball is lined foul down the third baseline. Count moves to 0-2, and Seymour has been just incredibly efficient so far, Lincoln.
He has, yes, and that fastball, like I said, fastest we've seen all night, and I think this Harbor Hawks lineup is having a little trouble catching up to it. Greer's been late. He was late on that foul ball, and so he needs to just work on catching up to it. Now, one thing I've noticed, you look at Seymour, when he comes set, he's actually almost facing away from home plate as his front foot is actually turned back almost into that left center gap. So it's a really interesting little stance here from Seymour.
He showed Greer his fastball, but Greer laid off at the eyes. 1-2. Seymour hasn't shaken off the catcher Winkle at all. The 1-2. Greer late on that one, but fouls it off, stays alive. 95 on that fastball. The count holds at 1-2.
Good battle here from Greer, being able to fight off everything that Seymour sends him for the most part.
I was able to talk to Greer before Tuesday's game. He said that his dad, Rusty, as we mentioned, former MLB player, coached him a lot during his youth. He credits his knowledge to his dad a lot. The 1-2 is cut on and missed. Winkle tags Greer to end the inning. Harbor Hawks go down in order as the Mariner bullpen is rolling. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Mariners looking to tack on to their lead on the Harbor Hawk Baseball Network. Back here from White House Field as the Mariners come up for the bottom of the 8th. Austin DeCouta with Lincoln Revill here with you as we progress into the end of this ball game. Austin Wallace back on the mound for his second inning of work out of the Harbor Hawk bullpen as he fires a strike at the knees at 84 miles per hour. Has displayed an effective curveball.
Now Wallace, actually the son of 2 former college athletes. His mother Julie actually threw discus and javelin at Baylor back in the 90s, while his father Danny was a baseball walk-on at Texas during the mid-'80s, so not the only Longhorn baseball player either.
The 0-2 is high and outside as that one slipped out of the hand of the left-handed pitcher Wallace. 1-2 the count. Jenkins leading it off here for the Mariners, the designated hitter. He's 0-for-3 to this point and thought about chasing the curveball. They'll check with the first base umpire, say that he held up. A couple Harbor Hawks fans think he went around.
Even from here, I think he had a couple of inches to give still. He didn't really.
I would agree.
He thought about it, but no, he didn't go.
The 2-2 popped up out of play down the right field line. Another souvenir and.
Oh, screaming. Good grief.
They're still out there running for the ball.
They're getting aggressive they're starting to get aggressive as the game goes on. I think the cold is getting to them.
Good thing there's an off day tomorrow. The kids chasing foul balls here need it too.
Yeah, they can mend their wounds that they get from the mob chasing all the foul balls.
Counts 3-2 to Jenkins. Wallace gets the sign from Pendleton, comes set. The 3-2 delivery. Ground ball to short. Kyle Ball is there. Takes a step and fires to first, and it is in time for out number 1. 6-3 on the putout.
Nice simple play there at short. That play coming in from Ball, and just a good play overall. A little bit of a low throw, but good job by Greer being able to get down and grab that ball out of the air for that first out. And really after that, after the long 7th inning that we had, it's nice to see a good first quick put out.
Line drive up the middle. Romano is there near second. The throw to first in time, and a quick out number 2 on the first pitch. Hal Hughes goes down on a 4-3 put out. Infield getting some work in here in the bottom of the 8th.
Just a complete turnaround from that 7th inning. It took so long to get that first out. Took 6 batters to get that first out back in the 7th. But they've gotten 2 putouts on the first 2 batters in this inning. So just a complete 180.
In steps Jake Lazzaro. He's 1 for 3 to this point with a single. Also stole a base. Lefty-lefty matchup. There's Wallace. Looks to retire Lazzaro to end the inning. Lazzaro was up last inning in the 7th. That's when he's had his single. It was a long 7th inning, as you mentioned, Lincoln. And Wallace is behind the 9-hitter, 2-0. Still no wind as the sky has gone completely dark. Started off as a beautiful afternoon and has continued that way as that ball is hit well to center field. Caden Rose on the run. He makes the catch and left center field to end the inning. The Mariners go down in order. Hyannis is chasing 3 as we head to the top of the 9th inning. Last at bats for the Harbor Hawks coming up. Back here for the top of the 9th inning from White House Field, Austin DeCouta with Lincoln Revill getting ready to start the 9th in just a moment. But fans, for sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
You know, back earlier you said, like, oh, I beg to differ that I do this better, but like time and time again, you just prove yourself wrong.
I don't think I do that well.
Well,
I appreciate the compliment.
It sounds like it's straight off a commercial, if I'm being honest.
Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment, but
oh, of course, yeah. Yeah, no.
I do appreciate it. As a new pitcher toes the rubber for the Mariners, it's Aaron Holiday, 6'3" right-hander from Delaware. Attends Old Dominion, his 2nd appearance on the season. Through 1 scoreless inning, striking out 2 earlier this year. Harbor Hawks have had a little bit of a tough go of it lately. haven't had a single since inning number 5. A hit, rather, since inning number 5, and it was a single.
Yeah. That single coming from Mitch Hartigan.
It's going to be 5-6-7 for the Harbor Hawks. Luke Mann will start it off. Hyannis chasing 3.
Now Holiday actually at 6'3", 205 pounds. The Old Dominion sophomore, another player in the Cape from the Conference USA. And Holiday actually threw in the Conference USA title game against Louisiana Tech, better known as La Tech. And he ended up getting the win in that game as well, as Old Dominion ended up moving on to the regional round of the college postseason.
Gets Luke Mann to go around on a pitch below the knees. It's 1-1 the count. Hyannis has got to get a couple base runners here to at least threaten the lead posted by the Mariners. The 1-1 pitch. Fastball cut on and missed. 91 on the gun, and the count moves to 1-2. Luke Mann, the left-handed hitter, wearing number 17 this season for Hyannis, has played some games at third. Mixes and matches with Mason Guerrero over there at the hot corner. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. It pops out of the catcher Winkle's glove. He'll clean it up and throw to first, and it is in time to retire Mann for the out number 1 here in the 9th. The strikeout 2 to 3 on the putout, rather.
Yeah, and Luke Mann having some trouble at the plate tonight as he goes to 0 for 4, but he's been exquisite at the hot corner tonight, making a couple of amazing plays. Like I said, Sports Center worthy almost.
Absolutely, showing his athleticism, his arm strength, and his range over at third. 3 things that are key to that position as Holiday from the windup fires the fastball in. Now, I thought he was going from the stretch in the first at-bat, but he's in the windup, it seems now. Am I incorrect on that one? I thought he was going from the stretch.
Yeah, no, he is in the stretch. He's in the windup. That front foot is almost parallel to the back foot on the rubber, which makes it look like the stretch. It's a very interesting windup.
I thought the first batter, Manny, was in the stretch. I could be wrong.
He may have been. I've seen a couple of times where a pitcher will mean to go from the windup, but he'll step in the stretch, then step right back off and get back into the windup.
And a called strike 3 as Dominic Johnson goes down on 3 pitches. And just like that, there are 2 away in the 9th as Aaron Holiday is 1 out away from a save and a Mariners win. But the right fielder, Jake Cunningham, standing in the way. It's 1 for 3 today, a stolen base, a run scored. Looking to extend the ball game at least one more batter. It's Kayla Pendleton on deck. The first pitch to Cunningham is an off-speed pitch, and he swings over the top of it for a strike number 1.
Just a very impressive outing so far from Holiday. To this point, he's thrown 1 ball in all 3 at-batters that he's faced.
And a called strike 2, same pitch, just a little bit of a different spot. Cunningham didn't swing at this one. Harbor Hawks down to their final strike from White House Field. The 0-2 from Holiday. Ground ball back to the mound. Holiday will flip on to first, and the ball game is over. The Mariners score 4 in the bottom of the 7th to come back and defeat Hyannis by a score of 5-2. The story of the game today was the bullpen for the Mariners, leading the way with 7 scoreless innings off the heels of a solid outing by the starting pitcher tonight, Seidel.
Yeah, just a fantastic little set of outings from that bullpen, and honestly, not a bad outing from Seidel, given that 2-run RBI from Ryan Romano that was back in the 2nd. But other than that, just a great outing all around from all of their batters. And honestly, you can't see it right now, but hats off to the Mariners for a great game tonight.
Aaron Holiday picks up the save. The Mariners pick up the win. For our sideline reporter, Taylor Farmer, for our producers, Matt and Harrison, and for my broadcast partner, Lincoln Revill, I'm Austin DeCouta. Thank you for listening tonight. Be sure to check out the Hot Talk postgame show on YouTube. We'll see you later, and have a great night.